Chapter 657. Yu Minmin was unwilling. No one knows that I'm the president's wife anyway. But Gu Jingzi grabbed Yu Minmin, who was about to leave. Let go of me. No. Gu Jingzi pulled her back. Lin Che will call and ask later. I can't wait for you to be in trouble before telling her that your husband is in trouble and you are in trouble too. You, Gu Jingzi said, watch her. Yu Minmin stood there and watched Gu Jingzi walk out without looking back. The bodyguards who came in looked at Yu Minmin and were in a dilemma. Yu Minmin said, Hey, you're the president's bodyguards and I'm the president's wife. Shouldn't you listen to me? The bodyguards didn't say anything. Yu Minmin said, Okay. Gu Jingzi is awesome. You're all afraid of him. I'll go back. Anyway, I won't be the president's wife anymore. The president is gone. What's the use of having a president's wife? Yu Minmin returned to her room. The bodyguards wanted to follow her but Yu Minmin turned around and stopped them. Get out, all of you. I want to be alone. The bodyguards saw this and stayed outside. Yu Minmin's eyes didn't blink as she watched the news. The news kept reporting about the disaster. Many people were praying for Mr. President. Many young girls were crying as they watched the news. However, Gu Jingming's life was still in danger. Yu Minmin bit his finger and read the report saying that the additional Marines had been sent there and the collapse was still continuing. He received a weak signal from the island, but he couldn't get the specific situation. He only knew that the disaster was still very serious. Yu Minmin waited for half an hour and felt that she couldn't wait any longer. Yu Minmin looked outside. She was on the 6th floor and it was still raining heavily. She leaned against the window and looked down. Theoretically, it wasn't impossible to go down. There were air conditioners and flower racks everywhere. She gritted her teeth. In the end, she tore down the curtain. As she descended, she tied one side of the curtain to her body and the other side to the iron railing below, imitating the rope used in rock climbing. As she descended, she tied the curtain down. Bit by bit, she walked down in the face of the wind and rain. By the seaside, Gu Jingzi stood there. In the midst of the madness, the Navy commander was shouting. No one goes over there. No one is allowed to move. Let us do it. When the Navy saw a man in a white shirt standing on the beach with a black umbrella, he hurriedly said, Hey, I'm talking to you. Let's go. However, when the Marine commander came over, he was shocked. It turned out that the person standing was Gu Jingzi. The guard said, This is Mr. Gu. Oh yes, he looks like the president. I didn't notice it just now. I'm sorry, Mr. Gu. The naval commander hurriedly said, But it's still too dangerous here. Sir, you'd better go inside, Gu Jingzi said. It's okay. Just do your best to rescue them. I'll stay here and won't cause you any trouble. I have my own protection measures. The commander glanced at the bodyguards behind him and the bodyguards with the Gu family's insignia, and quickly nodded. These people were even more valiant than the army. Naturally, he had heard about them from the inside. Gu Jingzi said, After you go in, try your best to block the news. Remember, no matter what happens to Mr. President, don't broadcast it. When the Marine commander heard this, he was shocked. Looking at Gu Jingzi's solemn face, although the cold wind was biting cold, the cold temperament and domineering aura coming from Gu Jingzi's body was still enough to shock people. Yes, don't worry, Mr. Gu. This is a heavy responsibility. Of course he understands. Meanwhile, at this moment, Yu Minmin. She ran directly to the pier and saw people coming and going. Screams and noises could be heard constantly. There was also the army stationed in the distance. The place was tightly guarded and no one could enter. To her surprise, there were still quite a few girls shouting that they wanted to go over, saying that they wanted to go find Mr. President. Other than some girls, there were also some boys who were fans of the president. They seemed to be making a lot of noise. Yu Minmin hurriedly went over. In the dark night, in the chaos, no one thought about who Yu Minmin was. She saw a girl whose face was red from crying. She quickly went over and asked, What's wrong? Did something happen? The girl was sobbing and couldn't even speak properly. Yu Minmin suddenly thought that something had really happened. However, the people next to her quickly said, We're going to look for Mr. President. They won't let us pass. We're going to contribute to the country. Why won't they let us go? Can't we go volunteer? Sob, Mr. President. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm going to save someone. If the boat can't pass, can't you find someone to swim over? It's not that far anyway. Everyone was making a ruckus, mostly because they wanted to go in and save someone. Wasn't this nonsense? Yu Minmin was shocked just now. She finally understood that the situation was not getting more serious. Her gaze fell on the inside and she became even more determined. Let me pass. I want to go in, Yu Minmin said. The people who were blocking her didn't even look at her. The girl next to her said, It's useless. You don't have to beg him. Humph, he just won't let us pass. He's really cold-blooded. We've been waiting here for an hour and he still won't let us pass. Yu Minmin grabbed a military-looking person in front of her and ignored the girl behind her. She said harshly, Let me in. I want to find my man. After all, Gu Jingming was her man. She had to go find him. No one could stop her. When the people behind heard this, they also shouted, Yes, yes, find my man. Mr. President is ours. The soldier glanced at Yu Minmin. You guys should go back quickly to support Mr. President. Hurry up and leave. Don't be a hindrance here. We know how you feel, but right now, we want to go in more urgently than anyone else. Enough, stop talking nonsense. I want to go in. Get out of my way now. I want to get on the boat and find Gu Jingming. Do you hear me? The soldier was stunned. Seeing Yu Minmin wipe her wet hair, he took a closer look. The person in front of him was the president's wife. Yes, wait. Sorry, I didn't realize it was you. He didn't dare to delay and quickly opened the defense net. The people behind him were all shocked. Hey, what? Why can she go in? All right, move aside. She's the president's wife. Ah, what? The people at the back began to chatter. After Yu Minmin went in, she went straight to the main road. The soldier said, The ships sent by the Navy are in front of us. They'll set off soon. I want to go up and find Gu Jingming. What? But it's too dangerous. It's okay. Is Gu Jingza here? Yes. The soldier looked at Yu Minmin's determined face and said. Yu Minmin said, It's good that he stays here. I'll go with him. Otherwise, you guys haven't been with Gu Jingming much. How would you know his characteristics? Yu Minmin's words made sense. The soldier thought for a moment and quickly went to report to the officer. Chapter 658. The officer came out to welcome Yu Minmin personally. But should we inform Mr. Gu about this? Just now Mr. Gu was at the shore. The officer was a little afraid of Gu Jingza. Yu Minmin said directly, No need. I've already told him. Let's go. He knows where I'm going. She wasn't lying. Gu Jingza knew that, even though he didn't agree to it. Hearing Yu Minmin's words, the officer thought that since they were all from the Gu family, he didn't need to ask too much about their conversation. Moreover, Yu Minmin was indeed able to recognize her husband at first glance when she went to look for Mr. President. It was so chaotic there that they didn't know what was going on. What if Mr. President fainted, got injured, or even died? Yu Minmin would be able to recognize him, wouldn't she? The officers only got to see Mr. President during festivals or important meetings. The rest of the time, they watched Gu Jingming on the internet. Of course, they weren't as familiar with him as Yu Minmin. As for the issue of safety, they should pay more attention on the road and not let Yu Minmin go out alone. It should not be a problem. The officer brought Yu Minmin onto the boat. The boat passed through the strait and reached the island. The only road leading to the island had been blown away by the waves. The island was cut off from the rest of the world and water and electricity had been cut off. Seeing the boat, everyone seemed to see a glimmer of hope. Look, someone's coming to save us. That's great. I knew that we wouldn't be abandoned. Of course. Mr. President has come to save us personally. How could we be abandoned? Mr. President is with us. Everyone watched as the people on the boat walked down one by one. The officer quickly asked, Where is Mr. President? The leader's face stiffened. He didn't dare to speak. Looking at the officer, he knew that the officer's rank was not low. The island had been forgotten for so many years. Now, because of the typhoon, so many important people had come to participate in the rescue. He was really afraid that he would cause trouble if he wasn't careful. Seeing the village official's reaction, The officer felt that something was wrong. His expression changed drastically. He grabbed the shoulder of the person and shook him. "I'm asking you something. How is Mr. President?" The people there trembled in fear. They turned around and pointed behind them. "Inside. Inside." The commander snorted and quickly turned around to help Yu Minmin, who was about to come down. Yu Minmin had already heard his words. Her heart sank, and she suddenly felt a little afraid. She was really afraid that Gu Jingming would never come back. Then what should she do? "What should I do?" Yu Minmin jumped off the ship and ran forward. The people on the fleet also hurriedly followed. Only when he was far away did he see a group of people surrounding a house. They seemed to be talking to each other anxiously. Suddenly, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the sky. Yu Minmin stopped where he was. As his eyes turned, the uneasiness in his heart became more and more obvious. Then he ran out. "Move aside, let me in." Just as she reached the door, she was forcefully stopped by someone. "No one is allowed to enter. No one is allowed to get close to it. Everyone has to obey the rules." The person at the door said. Yu Minmin said, "Let me in. I told you not to enter. Hey, let her in. She's the president's wife." Behind them, the commander had also rushed over. When he saw the situation, he hurriedly shouted from behind. Hearing this, the person who stopped her was stunned. He couldn't help but let go of her. Yu Minmin quickly ran into the house under the watchful eyes of the people around her. This was an ordinary house. There were other members of Gu Jingming's bodyguards in it. Yu Minmin's sudden appearance startled everyone. Then they cheered happily. Yu Minmin was here. Was the rescue team here too? "Madam. Madam, you're here." Yu Minmin came in and asked immediately, "Where is Mr. President?" "Inside." "Madam, Mr. President is." The person who spoke lowered his head silently. Yu Minmin's heart sank again. Then, he hurriedly opened the door and rushed in. When he opened the door, he smelled a strong medicinal smell. Gu Jingming was lying on the bed. His body was still wrapped in bandages. In the middle of the white bandages, there were bloodstains. He frowned and lay there motionlessly. Yu Minmin's heart ached. "Gu Jingming." She hurriedly ran over. She threw herself at Gu Jingming's bedside. When she touched the back of Gu Jingming's hand, she felt the coldness on it. Her palm trembled. She quickly held his hand and warmed it. She raised her head and called his name softly. "Gu Jingming? Gu Jingming, wake up." The doctor at the side said, "Madam, Mr. President has already fainted. We don't have enough medicine in the village, and Mr. President's injury is too serious. So without anesthesia, we sewed up the wound on Mr. President's chest, and Mr. President fainted. He has been unconscious for an hour." "What? His injury is very serious?" Yu Minmin raised her head. The doctor said, "When Mr. President was commanding in a room, the house was broken by the waves and the wooden beams fell down." Yu Minmin's heart ached even more. Fortunately, Mr. President has strong willpower. After he was rescued, he was still conscious. However, he lost too much blood, causing his body to be too weak. I suggest that Mr. President go to a better hospital for treatment as soon as possible." Yu Minmin raised her head and saw that his usually calm eyes were tightly shut. His handsome face was pale. She couldn't help but brush away some of the hair on his forehead. Then she nodded and said, "Take him to the ship. We'll go to another hospital." Gu Jingming was then brought to the warship by the bodyguards. The best hospital in S City had already prepared a private ward to receive him. Then, the news began to broadcast that Mr. President was fine. He was only slightly injured, but his life was not in danger. He needed to go to the hospital for treatment. Chapter 659. The reason he was loved had nothing to do with his looks or his background. It was because of his hard work. Los Angeles. Lin Che was eating with the young lady. The Chinese food the young lady ordered was a little disgusting. It was obvious that she had never been to Country C. However, the young lady ate with relish and said, "My dad doesn't like Chinese food, but I like it." Lin Che said, The Chinese food here is a little too bland. It's different from what we usually eat." "Oh, is it?" "You'll know when you go to Country C." "Oh yeah, what's your name?" You haven't told me yet. The young lady said, My name is Abigail. Wow, that sounds nice. What's your surname? My surname is Wesley. Oh, it seems like you were born here. Don't you have a name from Country C? No, I'm my dad's illegitimate son. He doesn't like my mom, so he doesn't allow me to come into contact with Country C's culture. Okay, while she was eating, Lin Che's phone suddenly rang. She saw that it was Gu Jing's number. She smiled and quickly picked it up. How is it, Gu Jingza? Yeah, don't worry. I've gone to the island to pick up Big Brother. He's just injured, but his life is not in danger. He's being treated in the hospital now. Yu Minmin is there too. Really? That's great. That's great. It's good that he's fine. Lin Che was relieved to know that there were no problems there. Abigail walked with Lin Che outside and asked him what she was doing here. So Lin Che said that she was originally here to film a movie, but now there was a problem. Lin Che said, Now that I injured the Hollywood tycoon, Henry's lover, and she's trying to stop me, I guess it'll be hard for me to make this movie. Lin Che sighed dejectedly as he said this. Henry? Henry's lover? Don't tell me it's my Rue? Oh, you know about it too. Lin Che looked at her in surprise. He thought that she lived in Los Angeles, so it was understandable that she knew. So you were the one who injured her. Abigail immediately said. I was wondering who dared to hit her. I didn't expect it to be you. Seeing her excited look, Lin Che seemed to be very interested, so he said, What, this news has already spread so far? However, Abigail lowered her chin with her hand, thought for a moment, and said, Don't worry, she won't make things difficult for you. I'll go talk to her and make things clear. What? Could it be that you know Mary? Lin Che said. Yes, it just so happens that I have just met her. She may come later. Henry is a guest in the front room. Come on, let's go. Can I? But I was just stopped by someone. Don't worry, with me here, they will let us pass. My Rue told Qin Wanwan that Harry was on the boat by the sea and she could take Qin Wanwan to see Harry. Qin Wanwan was very happy to hear that. Although my Rue was giving her face by taking her there, Qin Wanwan was very interested in this Hollywood mogul. She thought that if she could get close to him, not to mention Hollywood, even in Country C she would be able to gain a lot of face. Moreover, there were more international styles. For example, some of the famous domestic celebrities who had powerful international boyfriends would be labeled as very fashionable and high-end. Although Harry had many lovers, he was not married yet. If she said that he was her boyfriend, who knew how many people would be envious? She didn't feel that she was letting my Rue down at all, so she happily followed my Rue to the beach. On the boat, my Rue said to Qin Wanwan, Harry is playing with Wesley's family. You might see that girl later. Qin Wanwan said, Really? But she doesn't really like how I look. It's okay. She's just like that. There's nothing to like or dislike about. All right. Qin Wanwan didn't really care. Anyway, she didn't think she could get close to such a high-ranking person. She just wanted to leave a good impression on Mr. Wesley. It would be best if he could give her an international endorsement. If not, then forget it. Her target was the unmarried Harry. On the boat, a few people were drinking and playing cards. My Rue called out, Harry. Henry raised his head and beckoned him over with a smile. My Rue said, This is Qin. I told you about her. Harry looked up. Qin Wanwan was standing there looking at him affectionately. She looked shy and different from some of the American celebrities. Harry felt that she was special at first glance, and his smile widened. He said to her, That's great. We're just in need of girls here. Harry smiled and said to a man opposite him, Mr. Wesley, what do you think of this Oriental beauty? Wesley raised his head and looked. Before he could say anything, someone jumped out from the side and shouted happily, Daddy, I brought a friend to play on the ship. She ran over and wrapped her arms around Wesley's neck. Although Wesley was helpless, he still said dotingly, Okay. Do whatever you want. Qin Wanwan thought unhappily. Seriously, this little girl actually came at this time. She's so unlikable. The little girl said, I told you about a friend who helped me in France. I just found her. Really? Congratulations. How is it? She's here? Can you bring her over for Daddy to see? Of course. She ran out hurriedly. Wesley smiled and said, "Kids these days are too difficult to manage. If you don't let her be, she'll run away from home. I'm really scared." Harry said, "How could that be? Abigail is very brave. She's been away for 3 years and nothing has happened to her. Like father like son." "Haha, yeah. It's a form of training. Also, she has a group of followers. I'm already very lucky that she didn't starve to death." Everyone laughed together. The children from this kind of family were much more willful than this one. Who could control them? Just then, Abigail's voice came again. "Come in with me, Lin. My daddy is inside." Chin Wan Wan heard that she was speaking country C, so she turned her head as well. The few of them looked towards the door and saw Lin Che being pulled by her forcefully as they walked in slowly from the outside. Lin Che. Chin Wan Wan thought that she was seeing things, but she wasn't. Lin Che was dressed simply and didn't have any makeup on. He looked especially healthy and clean. Against the beautiful sunshine of Los Angeles, he looked as if he was full of vitality. Harry was stunned as well. When Mai Rue saw who it was, her face turned green. In a short while, her anger rose and she was about to charge at Lin Che. It's you again. How dare you come here?" Chapter 660. Lin Che was stunned to see Mary rushing over. However, Abigail stood in front of Lin Che and blocked his way. "Mary, what are you doing? She's my friend. If you want to do anything to her, you'll have to get past me first." Mary looked at Abigail, almost going crazy. "Why are you friends with her?" "Of course, I'm very good friends with her. I've already asked about the wound on your face. She has no idea why you're here. I've met her boyfriend. He's a super handsome guy and he's very rich. He drives a Lamborghini everywhere. How could she have anything to do with Henry? You've been misled. How could that be? Maybe or not. Do you choose to believe me or the woman beside you?" Mary was stunned. He turned to look at Chin Wan Wan and then at Abigail. Before Mary could react, Wesley had already stood up. He looked at Mary and said, "Hey, I believe my daughter. She told me about her experience in France and that charming man. I believe you must have misunderstood something." This time, even Wesley stood up. Henry hurriedly stood up and pulled Mary into his arms. "All right, darling, how many times have I told you that there's really nothing going on between me and her? You just won't believe me. Now you should understand. I really only have you." Henry looked at Lin Che. In order to please Mary, he wanted Lin Che to back off. But now, even Wesley was on Lin Che's side. Mary had no choice but to calm down and say, "All right." Abigail then turned around. "All right, Lin. I've already told her that Mr. Henry understands. He won't make things difficult for you anymore," Abigail said as she looked at Henry. "Uncle Henry, am I right?" Henry looked at Abigail. He would definitely give Wesley face. It wasn't easy for him to get close to her. How could he give up so easily? That's right, he said to Lin Che. "I'm sorry for making things difficult for you. But you know that women can't be provoked. I was just too obedient to Mary." Mary hit him shyly. "Don't push the blame onto me. It's all because you're too flirtatious." "Oh darling, I've done so much for you, and you still doubt me." Chin Wan Wan didn't expect this at all. Her mouth was slightly agape as she watched this scene. Lin Che and that girl. The girl looked at Chin Wan Wan with a frown and said to Wesley, "Daddy, who is this person? I just saw her and I think she's very annoying. I don't want to see her here. She only knows how to compliment me and she looks like a dog." Wesley said, "Oh really?" He raised his head and asked the ship security to take her away. "Let her leave this place. This place is too crowded for the time being. It's not good to welcome any more guests." Chin Wan Wan was asked to leave. She looked very disheveled as she glared at Lin Che. She wasn't willing to accept this, but all she could do was wonder how Lin Che knew this young lady, Wesley's daughter. Lin Che's luck was simply too good. There was always someone who could save her from trouble. However, Chin Wan Wan didn't know that Abigail liked Lin Che and helped him because of Lin Che's kindness. Her kindness created an opportunity for herself. What she said to Abigail in France made Abigail remember it to this day. That was why when she saw the poster, she thought it was Lin Che and rushed over. None of this was a coincidence. It was just that Lin Che was repaid for what he did. Qin Wan Wan was directly kicked out and Abigail helped her solve the problem here. Only then did Lin Che realize what was going on. It can't be. This ship belongs to your family? That's right. Did Henry do it for you just now? Not really. He thought you were easy to bully, so he acted casually. Now that he knows you're not easy to bully, he has no choice but to face you head-on. He really listens to Mary and spoils her too much. Okay. Lin Che said, but since your family is so good and your father loves you so much, you still ran away from home for 3 years. Of course. If I didn't run away, Daddy wouldn't look at me so seriously. However, I learned a lot during those 3 years and found a lot of direction in life. Abigail looked at Lin Che. Also, your words made me decide to find my life again, so I should thank you, Lin. Lin Che smiled. If you really treat me as a friend, just call me Lin Che. What, Lin? When you call each other by surname, it means you're not friends, right? That's right. When we're not familiar with each other, we call each other by surname. All right, then I'll call you by your name, Lin Che. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. The next day, the situation changed back to Stephen. He was very happy that he could work with Lin Che again. Although he felt that Lin Che was lacking in the beginning, after some comparison, he felt that Lin Che was the best actor in Country C. He was much better than Qin Wan Wanj. Stephen said, "We'll sign the contract soon. That Qin girl. She really can't do it. I really thought I had to work with her. I was still thinking that the script was going to be ruined. Luckily, you came back." Lin Che smiled. "I'm also very happy that we can continue working together." After leaving Stephen's place, Lin Che hurriedly called Gu Jingza. When she called, she realized that his phone was turned off. She couldn't help but feel a little strange. Why was his phone turned off? Did something happen to Gu Jingza again? Lin Che was still thinking about it when Abigail suddenly called again, asking to eat with her. Lin Che said, "I even brought my staff with me." Abigail said, "Very well, let them come together. My family has a holiday villa in Los Angeles. It's by the sea and the scenery is very good." Lin Che told the assistants and translator about it, and they were all very happy. The translator said to Lin Che, "Wesley's family is in the oil technology business. They're very powerful and very rich. Sister Che, we're really surprised that you know her." Lin Che also said, "It was a coincidence because of some small matters. I didn't expect her family to be so powerful." The staff at the side swept away the depression from a few days ago and felt that they could finally hold their heads up high today. At this moment they said happily, "Of course. Sister Che is so powerful. She must know many powerful people." All right, stop bragging. Abigail is just a little girl. But she's a powerful little girl. Aya, we're going to bask in Sister Che's glory today and see the vacation home of a rich man. Lin Che didn't know that at this moment, Gu Jingza had just gotten off the plane from Los Angeles. The people at the side looked at Gu Jingza and asked, "Should we inform Madam now?" "No need." Gu Jingza looked at the time and said, "Let's go to the place first." "Yes, sir." Gu Jingza thought for a moment and sent Lin Che a text. "You looked for me?" Chapter 661. Seeing Gu Jingza's message, Lin Che said hurriedly, "Yeah, I wanted to tell you that my movie is ready and I'll sign the contract soon, but you didn't pick up. I thought you were busy." "Yeah, I'm busy." Gu Jingza smiled. "You called just to ask me about this? I wanted to know how you're doing. Big brother is still in the hospital, but he's taking care of other things." "Really? That's great. Is there anything else you want to tell me?" Lin Che blushed slightly as she read the message. She felt empty inside. It seemed that she had been alone for the past few days. She did miss him a little. There were many things to do during the day, but at night, she felt that something was missing. In fact, nothing was missing. The only thing missing was the existence of a person. Whenever she was bullied and had to take the blame herself, she would think that it would be great if Gu Jingza was there. He was so smart and far-sighted. He would definitely come up with a good idea, unlike her who was so stupid and could only do things in the stupidest way. Moreover, she also missed his passionate embrace. She missed the satisfying feeling when she hugged his hard body to sleep, however. She didn't forget that Gu Jingza was hiding something from her. She hadn't gotten even with him because of the many things that had happened previously. She had decided that she wouldn't forgive him when she got back. Thus, she harumphed and didn't reply to him. She brought her people to the place that Abigail told her. Abigail called someone to pick them up. When they arrived at the resort, they saw the beautiful White House and the beach not far away. From the room, they could see the blue coastline. The sun was shining brightly, and it was the perfect season for surfing. There were people playing in the sea, but not many of them. Everyone was overjoyed when they saw them and ran over. Abigail came out to welcome them. She looked at the faces and smiled. "Come in. There are swimming facilities inside. You can play in the sea." When the staff saw this, they were extremely surprised. One by one, they quickly took out their mobile phones to take pictures and show off to others. They said that they followed Lin Che to the holiday house. This place was really too beautiful. Today they could also enjoy the enjoyment of the rich. Abigail said to Lin Che, "Are you coming back soon?" Lin Che nodded and said, "Yeah, I'll go back after signing the contract. I'll come back when the shooting schedule is confirmed." "What a pity," said Abigail. "I wanted to play with you some more." Lin Che said, "You'll have a chance when I get here." Abigail said, "Actually, I've never been to Country Sea before. My grandmother is from Country Sea, but my mother doesn't even know how to speak Country Sea's language. I learned Country Sea's language from my grandmother. I'm thinking that if there's a chance, I might go to Country Sea to have a look." "Of course, if there's a chance, I'll welcome you any time." "All right, let's go play in the sea." Lin Che also changed into his swimsuit. They soaked in the sea together, swimming and basking in the sun. After a while, however, she felt sick in her stomach and returned to the shore. Seeing this, Abigail returned to the shore. She looked at Lin Che and asked, "Why aren't you playing anymore?" "My stomach doesn't feel well," Lin Che said. "You guys play. Do you want me to help you find a doctor?" "No, there's no need," Lin Che said. "Maybe it's the days when girls are the most troublesome." I know, you're talking about your period." "That's right." Lin Che drank a mouthful of water and felt much better after basking in the sun for a while. She calculated the time. Actually, it was about time. No, to be exact, it had been a few days. It was just that she had been so busy recently that she forgot to pay attention to this problem. She thought about it strangely. Could it be that she was pregnant? However, she quickly shook her head and told herself not to think too much. The last time she thought she was pregnant, it turned out to be a mistake. She even went out of her way to buy a pregnancy test. It was really too stupid. Perhaps it was because she was really too busy that her period couldn't be balanced, which was why she kept delaying it. She really should pay attention to her body. After playing here for a while, her body didn't feel too well, so she didn't go into the water again. She quickly said goodbye to Abigail and returned to the hotel. Everyone had a good time and kept sighing. The coastline here was really beautiful. No wonder so many Hollywood blockbusters were filmed here. And then there was Abigail, rich, beautiful, and so lovely. Lin Che didn't participate in their discussion and went back to her room alone. As she looked at the things, she felt a little like eating noodles. She wanted to eat hot instant noodles with an egg, some vegetables, and a slice of ham. Just then, Gu Jingza happened to send her a text message. "Still awake?" "Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to eat something." "What do you want to eat?" "I want to eat boiled instant noodles." "Okay, I'll make it for you," Gu Jingza said. Don't tell me you made it and sent me a picture. I'm really hungry. If you dare to do that, I'll bite you to death." Outside, Gu Jingza heard what she said and smiled. He raised his head and said to someone, "Go buy 2 packets of instant noodles, some eggs, and some ham. Send them to me quickly." "Yes, sir." The person who came with him looked at Gu Jingza and looked at the person beside him strangely. However, everyone knew that Gu Jingza treasured Lin Che to the extent that he would grant her every request. So even if they felt that instant noodles were harmful to her health, no one would say anything. After a while, Gu Jingza really took 2 packets of instant noodles for her to see. Lin Che looked at the instant noodles and smiled bitterly. She replied with a crying face. "Just you wait." Gu Jingza said, "What's wrong? I didn't take a bowl of noodles for you." "That won't do either." "Oh really? So you're going to bite me?" "Yes, I'll bite you to death when we get back." "Go back? Why not now?" Lin Che was still staring at her phone in a daze when she heard someone knocking on the door opposite her. She froze for a moment and jumped over to open the door with her phone. When she opened the door, she saw Gu Jingze, who was holding a shopping bag. Ah, you. Lin Che held onto the door and looked at Gu Jingze in surprise. Why are you here? Come and bite me. Lin Che really wanted to bite him. He actually went to the United States to film it without telling her. He was really addicted to hiding it from her. But now, before she could deal with him, he had delivered himself to her doorstep. Lin Che's emotions faded away. He looked at Gu Jingze, clenched his teeth, and jumped onto him. Chapter 662. Gu Jingze caught her with both hands and the bag in his hand fell to the ground. Lin Che lay on top of him and hit Gu Jingze's shoulder with her fist. Humph, you lied to me. You lied to me. She used all her strength to hit him. Gu Jingze hugged her and couldn't avoid it. He could only frown and let her hit him. There were many people behind them. Seeing Gu Jingze like this, they were shocked. Lin Che was too bold. How dare he beat Gu Jingze in front of them like this? Although they were husband and wife, it was fine to do it in the house, but there were so many people watching. Although they knew it was nothing, the other party was Gu Jingze. They were used to strategizing, so they weren't used to being hit by Lin Che in front of his subordinates. However, to her surprise, although Gu Jingze was frowning, he didn't show any signs of getting angry. He simply allowed Lin Che to hit her like that. Only when she was tired from hitting him did she take a deep breath and allow Gu Jingze to carry her horizontally. Are you done? If you are, it's my turn. On his handsome face, his cold eyes outlined Lin Che's cheeks. Then, he carried Lin Che into the room. The people behind looked at each other and quickly picked up the things on the ground and put them inside. The couple obviously didn't care about anyone else. Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che and immediately kissed her lips. He sucked on her tongue with all his strength. The people behind couldn't help but think, if this was the punishment, how many women would line up to be punished like this? However, their president Gu was too impatient. He kissed her just like that, which made the people behind them blush even more. They did not dare to look any longer. They put down their things and hurriedly closed the door for the couple. They couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. They had heard how much Gu Jingze doted on Lin Che. Now that they saw it with their own eyes, they finally understood. Gu Jingze let go of her reluctantly. The kiss just now had almost covered her whole body. Dry wood and blazing fire. They reunited after a long time. Although, it didn't seem to be that long, they felt as though they hadn't met each other like this for a long time. So much so that Lin Che initially rejected him. However, in the next moment, when he saw his large hands easily undoing the button, he couldn't take it anymore and took the initiative to put it on. Just like that, the two of them were ignited and rolled around on the bed. After that, Lin Che felt even more hungry. When he let go of her, Gu Jingze heard her stomach growling. Lin Che looked down and said with a sad face, "Really?" Gu Jingze smiled. "Didn't I bring noodles? Let's go eat noodles." "But this hotel doesn't have a kitchen," Lin Che said. Gu Jingze took a look. The hotel the production crew had booked for Lin Che was indeed a little lacking. Gu Jingze said, "Let's go. I have a place nearby. I've already cleaned it up. Let's go there and cook." Lin Che said, "Is there a place to stay?" Gu Jingze nodded, picked up the clothes, and helped her put them on. Lin Che put on the clothes and followed behind Gu Jingze. She picked up the instant noodles on the table and rushed to the place he mentioned. When they arrived, they saw that the place Gu Jingze mentioned was in the so-called wealthy district, on Balihua Hill behind Hollywood. Wasn't this the place where the Hollywood tycoons lived? That made sense. Was Gu Jingze a tycoon too? In the small bungalow, Gu Jingze put down the things and asked Lin Che to wait in the dining room while he went to the kitchen to find something to cook. Gu Jingze was very fast. Although he had only cooked a few times, he was very familiar with the technique. Not long after, the noodles were placed in front of Lin Che. There were some eggs, ham and vegetables. Just looking at it made Lin Che's appetite increase greatly. Lin Che couldn't help but remember the first time she ate noodles. Gu Jingze was surprised. At that time, the bowl of noodles she cooked was completely eaten by Gu Jingze. Moreover, he didn't seem to care at all. That bowl of noodles. She had already eaten a few mouthfuls and there was still her saliva on it. Thinking back, she couldn't help but laugh secretly. At that time, when she thought of the great Gu Jingzi eating her saliva, she couldn't help but feel excited. But now, thinking back to the feeling of exchanging lips and teeth, it seemed that eating each other's saliva had become a normal thing. Moreover, she didn't feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, she enjoyed the feeling of being entangled with him. Gu Jingzi said, "Why are you staring at me if you're not eating?" Lin Che was stunned and quickly looked away. "Oh, I'm eating. I'm not looking at anything." She thought for a moment and said, "Do you still remember the first time I cooked noodles for you?" "Yeah, hee. That time, there was clearly my saliva on the noodles. You ate it all. You don't know how funny it was." Gu Jingzi said, "I know." "Ha! Know what?" "That there was her saliva on the noodles?" Gu Jingzi held the chopsticks and lightly blew on the noodles. Without looking at her, he said mildly, "But at that time, I thought it was quite delicious, so I let it go." "What was delicious? Her saliva?" "It couldn't be." Gu Jingzi raised his head and looked at her dumbfounded expression. He shook his head and reached out to tap her nose. "You're really something. A man is always happy when he takes advantage of a woman. You've been swallowed by someone else. You look like I've taken advantage of you." What did that mean? Gu Jingzi casually crossed his legs and looked at her silly look. "Have you ever thought that when I was eating your saliva, I had already eaten you from head to toe a few times in my heart?" Lin Che's face turned completely red. "What? Gu Jingzi was already this bad at that time." You. Lin Che put down her chopsticks and pointed at him. Gu Jingzi pursed his lips and smiled. "You're only blushing now?" Gu Jingzi still felt very satisfied when he thought about it. If this silly girl hadn't been so silly, she wouldn't have fallen into his pocket so early on. Lin Che ate angrily and glared at Gu Jingzi. She felt more and more like she had been cheated. In the past, she felt that he was a very upright person. He faced her for so long and didn't touch her. Now she suddenly felt that he was coquettish on the inside. He was bad in his heart and didn't show it. Lin Che thought angrily. He was so coquettish on the inside. No wonder. No wonder he secretly went to the hospital with Mo Huiling at home. She really wanted to ask him where he went, but she didn't have the chance. After being kissed by him just now, she forgot to ask. It wasn't good for her to ask now. She let him eat before asking this question. Wouldn't it make her look like she was degrading herself? She really regretted that she didn't control herself at the start and immediately latched onto him after he pushed her down. Now, she didn't even have the confidence to ask him with a straight face. Chapter 663. It was all Gu Jingzi's fault. He loved to seduce her and didn't let her go even though they had just arrived. Boo-hoo. Lin Che glared at him and said, "Hurry up and eat." After they finished eating, they went to wash up together. Gu Jingzi looked at Lin Che, who was holding an electric toothbrush and brushing his teeth. The vibration of the electric toothbrush made her mouth bulge. He stared at her and smiled, which made Lin Che even more puzzled. She looked up and said, "What are you doing?" Gu Jingzi said, "Speaking of vibration." He slowly grabbed Lin Che. Lin Che grunted, her mouth still full of foam. "I'm not done yet. Let me help you." He took a glass of water for her to rinse her mouth. She mumbled. After brushing her teeth, he kissed her. Their mouths were filled with the fragrance of mint. Their intertwined lips slowly moved closer. Lin Che recalled the regret he had felt earlier. She hadn't figured out what had happened between him and Mo Huiling. She couldn't fool around with him anymore. However, before she could do anything, his hand had already completely covered her chest. He pushed up and her clothes were pushed up. Her flat stomach and beautiful breasts leaped into his eyes like a jumping rabbit. Lin Che pushed his shoulders. Let go of me, however, Gu Jingzi turned a deaf ear to her. He lowered his head and gently bit her most sensitive spot. She shrank back and moaned uncontrollably. After Gu Jingzi bit her, he swirled the tip of his tongue back and forth. His movements were sometimes slow and sometimes fast. Lin Che couldn't help but moan. She wrapped her arms around his neck, and her whole body was almost hanging on his body. Just like that, he carried her outside to the roller washing machine. After she was placed in it, she felt cold. Standing in front of the small washing machine, He had perfect access to the most sensitive part of her body. As soon as he pressed the switch, the machine started to vibrate. Lin Che could feel her body shaking along with his. All she could do was grab onto him tightly to prevent herself from slipping down. However, the result of her clenching was that her body was pushed deeper into the washing machine. Lin Che couldn't help but moan. She lost her train of thought. The result was, his body, which had just been washed, was washed again. That night, when Lin Che laid there exhausted, he was still thinking about how things had turned out this way. Didn't she say not to do this before she figured out what he had done with Mo Huiling? How could she have completely forgotten about it after he moved like that? She was truly unable to extricate herself from his charms. The next day, Lin Che told her staff that she was temporarily staying at a friend's house. The staff were also a little surprised. But it was understandable that Lin Che had friends outside. After all, she was a famous celebrity. At this time, Abigail suddenly called her and said that she went to her hotel but couldn't find her. Lin Che told her his address, and Abigail said that she would come to find him immediately. Soon, Abigail arrived. She lives very close to here. After she came in, Lin Che went to open the door. She complained, "You moved here and made me go to the hotel. Luckily, the hotel isn't far. But why did you suddenly move here?" Then, Gu Jing's figure flashed out from behind. Abigail's eyes lit up when she saw this charming man. Although she had only seen him once in France, this man was unforgettable. She immediately said, "Oh, he." She pointed at Gu Jingze for a long time before smiling ambiguously. She squinted at Lin Che and said, "Well, I was wondering why you suddenly moved here. So, it's because your boyfriend is here." Gu Jingze looked at this young lady. She was still as difficult to deal with as before. But when he heard that she was from Wesley's family, Gu Jingze didn't say anything. Moreover, she had just helped Lin Che. "Come in and sit down," he said. Abigail nodded quickly and pulled Lin Che inside. "Oh, he's so handsome. Say, you have such a handsome man. How can Mary suspect that there's something going on between you and that old man Henry? Really, you should let Mary see what a real man is like. Other than her, who else would treat Henry like a treasure?" Of course, many men thought that Henry was good. After all, Henry was a Hollywood mogul. However, to a girl like Abigail, Henry was naturally nothing. Lin Che said, "You're here to play with me again? Don't you have to go to school?" "No. Although my dad enrolled me in a school, I often study at home. Anyway, the school won't expel me. They'll even give me a diploma in the end." "Fine, how willful." Lin Che said, "But you need to have a direction too. Do you have anything you want to do?" "Want? Not at the moment. I've been looking for a direction in my life, but I haven't found it." She looked at Lin Che and blinked. "But I have a direction now, and that is, I want to go to country C, huh? Really?" "That's right. Lin Che, I'll go to country C with you." Lin Che looked at the smiling Abigail. Seriously, Qin Wan Wan was preparing to return to China today. She couldn't afford to embarrass herself here, so she had to go back. However, some reporters came to Hollywood. When they saw Qin Wan Wan coming down from the hotel elevator, they went up to her. "Wan Wan, did you fail the audition?" The production team of Blood just announced that they had signed a contract with Lin Che. Qin Wan Wan didn't want to answer. She came here full of ambition, but she didn't expect to go back without getting anything. Sister Lin quickly blocked them and said sourly, "Yeah, we were told to come for the audition and we agreed. But who knew that Lin Che would be so amazing? He came here and got to know some big shot. We don't want to compete with Lin Che in terms of connections. After all, our connections aren't as strong as his." Sister Lin was deliberately pushing the reason for their failure to the audition to Lin Che's connections. She seemed to be implying that Lin Che was chosen because of the unspoken rules. Everyone in China knew that Lin Che had always been well liked by these rich people. They didn't think it was inappropriate when they heard it. Instead, they looked at each other and quickly asked, "Then, who did he get to know?" Sister Lin said, all right, we don't know. It's fine even if we failed the audition. After all, he got to know some big shot. Mu Firen didn't even audition, so we won't compete with Mu Firen." Sister Lin continued to pour dirty water on Lin Che, and the topic of Lin Che stealing Mu Firen's role continued. Anyway, there were protests in China. They didn't want Lin Che to act in the audition and felt that Lin Che's acting skills weren't worthy of Hollywood. Chapter 664. After Qin Wanwan came out, Mai Rue even saw her off. Mai Rue said, "I'll look for you next time if there's a good opportunity." Qin Wanwan didn't dare to offend Mai Rue. Although she was in a bad mood, she didn't dare to get mad at her. "Thank you. Thank you for taking care of me this time." However, Qin Wanwan still wanted to meet Lin Che and mock her. She looked back for a long time, but Lin Che didn't appear. Instead, the staff members that Lin Che brought came down one by one. Looking at Qin Wanwan, they all raised their heads, looking very proud. Sister Lin laughed mockingly. "Where's Lin Che? Is he afraid to show up because he's in the wrong, so he's showing off with a bunch of underlings?" The staff members looked at Sister Lin with a smile. "Don't always think of slandering others, okay? Our Sister Che has settled her work and is living in Billy Hua Mountain's villa." "What? Ha, Lin Che has a villa in Billy Hua Mountain? Well, we don't know where Sister Che has a property. Anyway, Sister Che moved there yesterday." Sister Lin and Qin Wanwan looked at each other. They didn't understand how Lin Che had a property there. Mai Rue said, "I asked and Abigail said that she has a very rich boyfriend. Don't you know?" The boyfriend that Qin Wanwan thought of was Gu Jingyu. That was what Gu Jingyu had admitted. Did Gu Jingyu really buy it for her? Jealousy rose in her heart again. Qin Wanwan opened the car door and got in, looking gloomy. Sister Lin was also angry. Mainly, she couldn't explain it to her family. She came to Hollywood and got nothing. She was going to be laughed at. It was so embarrassing. Lin Che and Gu Jingza were preparing to go back to China. She called Yu Minmin first and told her that she was going to bring a girl back with her. Yu Minmin was also very surprised when she heard that. She was thinking about how to arrange things when the girl came. However, she was a member of Wesley's family after all, so she couldn't just let her go. Yu Minmin said, "I'll see what I can do. You guys come back first." Seriously, Gu Jingza just finished his work here and he immediately went to pick you up. He's so loving. All right. He's just. Come and relax. By the way, is Mr. President all right? Yu Minmin's voice deepened. His injuries are quite serious. I'll continue to take care of him here. We're seeing if we can return to the hospital in B City. However, I'm worried that moving will worsen his injuries, so we're still working on a plan. All right, then I won't disturb you. You can go take care of Mr. President. Yu Minmin hung up the phone and looked at Gu Jingming. This man was stubborn and overbearing. Sometimes he was really hard to deal with. That was why things were so troublesome. The doctor looked at Yu Minmin and came over to say, "Madam, it's better to advise Sir to stay in this hospital. Although our hospital's facilities aren't as good as those in B City, moving him around will worsen his condition. Right now, the infected area is still under control. If things go wrong, it could easily cause acute pneumonia. Wouldn't that be even more dangerous?" Yu Minmin said, "Mr. President doesn't think that the equipment here isn't good enough. It's just that he's anxious to return to Glass Palace to deal with government affairs. Doctor, don't worry. It's not that your treatment isn't good." When the doctor heard this, he seemed to understand a little. Glass Palace was in B City. Some of the government's work was also more convenient in B City. Previously, he was worried that the care here wouldn't be good. After all, the president's illness was a national matter. If anything went wrong, it would be a big deal. Therefore, the entire hospital was on tenterhooks, afraid that something would go wrong. Yu Minmin sent the doctor off and walked into the ward. She thought about the doctor's careful look. Indeed, anything that happened to Gu Jingming was not a small matter. Just a thought could make one's imagination roam and make one feel like kneeling down and begging for mercy. No wonder Gu Jingming rarely showed any special expressions in front of outsiders. Yu Minmin entered the room. Gu Jingming was still in a deep sleep. Yu Minmin stood there and looked at his sleeping face quietly. Seeing that his handsome eyebrows were furrowed, as if he couldn't even flatten them with an iron, she gently caressed them with her hand. This man was really beautiful. Even though he was sick, he didn't look the slightest bit disheveled. Instead, he had a kind of frail beauty. His sharp edges outlined his cheeks. His pores were extremely fine, and his skin was well complemented. The shadow of the sunset on his nose made his entire face even more striking. Yu Minmin thought that even if he wasn't the president, he would definitely be a dragon among men. Every expression on his face had already written about his extraordinariness. She couldn't help but touch his forehead, as if she wanted to soothe the worries on his head. However, Gu Jingming suddenly opened his eyes. Before she could react, Gu Jingming's hand had already quickly grabbed her hand and locked her down. His gaze was as sharp as a blade as he stared at her coldly. "Who is it?" His thin lips spat out a cold warning. It was obvious that he thought it was someone else. Yu Minmin didn't expect him to be so vigilant even when he was sick. Her wrist was in excruciating pain. She cried out, "It's me." When Gu Jingming heard her moan in pain, he immediately let go of her. Yu Minmin was released. She rubbed her wrist and said gloomily, "You're so strong." Gu Jingming looked at her. His voice was not as sharp as it was just now. "What are you doing?" Yu Minmin's eyes moved. How could she dare to say that she was staring at him just now? "Oh, I saw something on your face just now, so I wanted to help you get rid of it," she lied. Her hand was fiddling with her ear. Gu Jingming looked at her deeply, making her feel guilty. She quickly turned her head and said to him, "Are you hungry? I'll get someone to bring you some food." "Okay." Hearing this, Yu Minmin quickly went out to get someone to prepare food. With the cooperation of the doctor and the nutritionist, the nutritious porridge was brought over. His wound was infected, so the food he ate was especially meticulous. Yu Minmin had also seen for herself what a chef from Glass Palace was like. A simple porridge could be made with so many ingredients. They made it in a variety of ways, making it easy for the patient to absorb, appetizing, and nutritious. Yu Minmin brought the porridge to Gu Jingming and fed him mouthful by mouthful. As she ate, she remembered the doctor's instructions. She hesitated for a moment and said, "I saw that they were preparing to return to City B, that's right. But your wound hasn't healed yet. The infection is still ongoing. I don't think it's safe to suddenly change places, doctors, and treatment plans." Gu Jingming looked at her. "Are you trying to control me?" Yu Minmin knew that she didn't have the right to control such a national matter. However, the person in front of her was her husband. Others might not dare to say it, but as his wife she had to. Chapter 665. Gu Jingming, you can deal with the government affairs in a few days. You can also deal with some of them here. There are other people who can do it if you're not here. If a national institution can't function normally without the president, then this national institution is too weak. Yu Minmin Gu Jingming threw the spoon in his hand. Seeing that the bowl was about to fall, Yu Minmin hurried to catch it. But the porridge still fell to the ground. Yu Minmin's hand was scalded and hurt. Luckily, the porridge had been cold for a while and was not freshly served. Yu Minmin was annoyed. She looked at Gu Jingming, who was lying on the bed, and said, "What's wrong? You're the president, and I'm the citizen. You were elected by us one vote at a time. I don't have the right to criticize you. Aren't you a public servant of the country?" Gu Jingming's face froze again. Coldness spread in his eyes. Yu Minmin was furious. She ignored him and went to pick up the bowl and chopsticks. The porcelain bowl fell to the ground and broke. Yu Minmin picked it up and cut her finger. She looked at it and cursed her bad luck. She casually wiped the blood off her finger and picked up the bowl. Gu Jingming stared at her face. Yu Minmin came back quickly and got a new bowl of porridge. She said to him, "You're so anxious about the government affairs. Hurry up and eat. You'll have the strength to recover after you eat. Otherwise, how are you going to manage the government affairs if you die in bed?" Yu Minmin. He must have spoiled her too much recently. That was why she dared to talk to him like this. Yu Minmin shuddered. She felt that she was too impulsive just now. She had been too anxious about his affairs. But now he didn't care about her safety. Yu Minmin looked at his gloomy face and felt a little scared. She was worried that he would kick her out. That would be funny. However, Gu Jingming just looked at her and said in a low voice, "Come here." How dare she? She could sense danger from his expression. She was afraid that she would be beaten up badly if she went over. She knew very well how overbearing he was. He wouldn't allow anyone to disobey him. Otherwise, he would take revenge behind her back. He must have been very angry when she said that. I still need to talk to the doctor. You eat first, I'll go first. I told you to come here now. Gu Jingming interrupted her and said coldly. Yu Minmin quickly took 2 steps forward. As soon as she got close to the bed, Gu Jingming grabbed her wrist. He turned her over and pressed her down on the bed. His angry face was stained with frost. He glared at her as if he wanted to swallow her whole. What did you just tell me? Say it again. His voice was filled with anger. His face, which smelled like medicine, made Yu Minmin's heart clench. Under his body, she was worried that if he moved, his wound would be torn. However, she was also worried that he would come down recklessly to take revenge. She quickly said, I was just angry just now. No, I'm not angry. I'm just worried about your health. Really? Her frightened look didn't ease his expression. Just as he was about to press her down, he suddenly felt something wet on his hand. Lowering his head, he saw a patch of blood on his palm. He paused, then took her hand. There was a cut on her finger, and it was bleeding. His frown deepened and he looked a little shocked. What happened? He pulled her up and looked at her hand. Yu Minmin hissed in pain. He sighed and called out, Doctor, come in. The doctor had heard it from outside, but he didn't dare to come in and meddle with the president and his wife. Hearing Gu Jingming's call, he rushed in. Her hand is injured, Gu Jingming said. Seeing this, the doctor quickly ordered someone to bring something. Yu Minmin looked at Gu Jingming and said quickly, It's okay. It's just a small cut when I was picking up things. Shut up. He once again cut her off coldly, glaring at her as if he was extremely impatient. Yu Minmin could only shut her mouth and wait for the doctor to treat the wound. When he wrapped her hand, she realized that the back of her hand was red. Madam, this. Yu Minmin could still feel Gu Jingming's frightening gaze on her head. She said quickly, It's okay, doctor. It was scalded by the porridge, but it's not serious. Sure enough, the gaze on her head became colder. Gu Jingming said, Apply the ointment. The doctor said quickly, It'll be fine after applying the ointment. It's really not serious, so it can't be treated specially. It should be fine after applying the ointment a few more times. Only then did Gu Jingming nod. Seeing the doctor leave, Yu Minmin looked down at her bandaged hand. Okay, it's okay. You can eat the porridge. I don't need you. I'll do it myself, Gu Jingming said as he glared at her. He asked her to sit down and started eating. Seeing this, Yu Minmin didn't meddle. She only went to get the bowl after he finished eating. However, before she could take it, her hand was pushed away again. Okay, just ask someone to come and get it. It's okay. I'm going out anyway. I'll just take it with me. Before she could finish her sentence, her wrist was grabbed forcefully again. She raised her head in surprise. Gu Jingming stared at her. Do you feel bad if you don't go against me? She didn't. However, Gu Jingming pressed her down on the bed again. Looking at this woman, he couldn't help but want to bully her with all his might. He wanted to bully her until she didn't have the strength to go against him. The more it was at this moment, the more he had the urge to press her down here. But at this moment, Jingming, how are you? I heard something happened to you, so I rushed over from Paris. In Suya's voice came from outside. Then, In Suya pushed the door open and walked in. In Suya was stunned when she saw Gu Jingming and Yu Minmin, who had been pushed down by him. Yu Minmin was startled. After a while, she pushed Gu Jingming away. She blushed and didn't dare to look at anyone. Well, you guys chat first. I'm going out. Don't we have to move back to B City? I'll go prepare. Wait. Gu Jingming stopped her. Then, without looking at Yu Minmin, he said, Tell Linda not to move back for the time being. Tell the cabinet members to report to City S if there's a problem. Yu Minmin was stunned again. She looked up in surprise and hurriedly said, Oh, I got it. Gu Jingza and Lin Che returned to B City with Abigail's. On the plane, Abigail looked at Gu Jingza. Wow, I didn't expect you to be so rich. Chapter 666. She turned around and said, What a pity, Lin Che. I came to Country C because I wanted to experience life, but it seems that your life isn't that different. You're still living a rich life. Lin Che said, originally, there wasn't much difference. It's just that after you arrive, I'll arrange for you to work in our company. You can take a look. My company is very small. You'll know when you see it. But since you're so rich, why do you still want to be a star? Because that's my dream and my job. People have to have a direction. You're looking for a direction, and my direction has been to be a good actress from the beginning. So, I won't tell anyone about me and Gu Jingze in the company, understand? So that's how it is. But Gu Jingze, how rich is your family? I think your private jet is much better than my father's. Gu Jingze didn't listen to her chatter. He leaned back and read a book. After a while, he raised his head. It's just Lin Che said to Abigail in private, I don't know how rich he is, but it seems that you really don't know anything about Country C. The president of Country C is his brother. Abigail looked at Gu Jingze in surprise. Lin Che said, as for you, I have to think of a good name for you. Your name is too complicated and hard to call. Okay, what's your name? Is Bai okay? What's that? Bai means that your name is Bai. It's similar to your name. That's great. Then I won't say my name is Wesley. I'll take your surname and be called Lin Bai. You can even do this? Isn't this too casual? Behind them, Gu Jingze listened to the two girls and was speechless. When they arrived at B City, Gu Jingze went down to send Lin Che home. He had to rush to S City to continue his work. Lin Che brought Bai back to the Gu family first. Bai sighed at the size of the Gu family and prepared to stay for a day or two. She had to find a house first. It was her first time in Country C, so she was very happy. She looked around curiously and ate the Chinese food made by the Gu family's chef. She sighed. No wonder Lin Che felt that Chinese food abroad was so bad. From the looks of it, it was indeed quite unpalatable. Bai went to the company with Lin Che and saw that the company was really small, but the staff were very enthusiastic. They knew that Bai was a local tyrant. This time she was going to live in sea country for a while. Now she was going to help in the company. She was still such a cute child. She was beautiful and white. Although she looked strange, everyone warmly welcomed her. Yu Minmin wasn't there yet. Fortunately, everyone was united and didn't cause any trouble. Later, Lin Che accompanied Bai to look for a house. After looking at a few houses, Bai decided to buy a house in Gu Jingze's community. It was quiet and beautiful, and it was very close to Lin Che's home. Lin Che and Bai went over to take a look and suddenly discovered the only house that was for sale was Mo Huiling's family. In the past, Mo Huiling had moved here for a while to ruin her relationship with Gu Jingze. Later, Gu Jingze had chased her away. This house was where Mo Huiling lived at that time. Lin Che naturally felt a little uncomfortable, but he didn't say anything. It wasn't a taboo. After all, Mo Huiling's problem had nothing to do with the house. The real estate agent said that this was the only one for sale here, so he could only buy it. Although Bai was a little girl, she was still very generous with her money. She immediately bought it and quickly prepared to go through the procedures. Lin Che sighed in the car. I didn't expect you to live there. Really, fate makes fools of people. Bai asked puzzledly, what's wrong with that place? Lin Che said, that place. It's the place where a very depressed woman lives. What woman? Lin Che told Bai. Bai slapped the seat. Why didn't you say so earlier? If you had, I would've. Forget it. It's that woman's fault to sell this house again. What does it have to do with the house? Anyway, it's yours after you buy it. Lin Che remembered that she hadn't properly asked Gu Jingze and Mo Huiling why they went to the hospital. She said, all right, I still have to go see what Mo Huiling and Gu Jingze are doing. What? Are they still together? Not really. It's mainly because Mo Huiling is pestering Gu Jingze. But this time, I still have to go to the hospital to see if they went to the hospital together. Why don't you just ask Gu Jingze? She said. Lin Che said, if I have to ask everything, then our relationship is too passive. Really, he won't confess to me. He definitely has to report to me about this kind of thing at any time. Okay. Lin Che quickly found the hospital according to the photo. She looked at the door and it was indeed here. She went inside and thought for a moment. She couldn't go in herself, so she asked Abai to go in and ask. You go and ask if Gu Jingza has been here. Abai spread out her hands speechlessly. She went in and asked and quickly came out. Yes, he has been here. Really? Lin Che had already sat up excitedly. Abai said, I went over to ask. I asked if Gu Jingza had been here with a woman called Mo Huiling. The person at the front desk looked at me for a long time and asked if you were related to Gu Jingza. I said he was a friend and she said that the guest's information can't be casually told to you. What does that mean? Lin Che said. Abai said, are you stupid? Since she said that, it means that Gu Jingza is a guest. Oh, that's right. If she hadn't been here before, the front desk would definitely be very surprised. If she didn't know who Gu Jingza was, she would even think that it was strange. But she still asked who she was to Gu Jingza, and then she said that the guest's information couldn't be revealed. Great, great. Gu Jingza really came here. This time, she really wanted to teach him a lesson. He actually didn't tell her. Abai said, hey, don't be impulsive. He's just here to the hospital. How could Lin Che not be excited? He's a man. Why would he come to a private maternity hospital? Abai spread out her hands. All right, men do need to be educated for being dishonest. Lin Che was already rubbing his palms together. He thought to himself, when you come back tonight, see how I'll teach you a lesson. I'll definitely beat you up. Although that was what he thought, Lin Che actually had to remind himself to never, ever be tempted by his beauty again. Gu Jingza did indeed come back that night. After staying in City S for a day, he knew that Gu Jingming wasn't going to move back quickly. Instead, he listened to Yu Minmin and stayed there for a few more days to recuperate. When he came back, he wouldn't have anything to do. He might as well just wait for him to come back in City B. Chapter 667. When she got home, she saw Lin Che walking out of the house. He didn't feel tired. It was just a trip to S City, which was much simpler than his usual work here. But looking at Lin Che, he pulled her over and kissed her on the lips. Before Lin Che could react, he had already kissed her again and again in front of the servants. He only let go of her when the tip of her tongue was numb. But he still reached out to hold her face and said, Has your friend found a place to stay? The one at Wesley's. Lin Che pushed him away unhappily. He still didn't tell her about going to the hospital and still dared to kiss her. She touched her lips forcefully in front of him. Of course he found a place. Do you think everyone is as unreliable as you? Turning her head, she didn't know that her lips were already pouting. She looked resentful. Gu Jingza narrowed his eyes and looked at her strangely. What's wrong? Nothing. Lin Che quickly walked towards the direction of the bedroom and held onto the stairs as he walked up. Gu Jingza was stunned. He passed his coat to the servant and followed her. Lin Che, what are you doing? The servants looked at each other strangely. What was going on? Was Madame throwing a tantrum? But why? Gu Jingza was about to enter the house, but Lin Che slammed the door before he could enter. Gu Jingza went to hold the door handle, but he felt that Lin Che had already locked the door from the inside. Gu Jingza frowned. Lin Che, what are you doing? Lin Che snorted. I'm not feeling well today. I want to sleep alone. What? Gu Jingza remembered the last time she was like this. Because she was sulking. Gu Jingza stood still and knocked on the door. Lin Che, what happened to you? Tell me, okay? Don't you know what you did? Why are you asking me? Humph. If he didn't teach him a lesson, he wouldn't even know what he had done wrong. Gu Jingza didn't know what he had done wrong. It was also because nothing had happened before he went to S City, but things had changed after he came back. This was too abnormal. Gu Jingza knocked on the door. Why don't you tell me? Lin Che. He watched for a while, then gritted his teeth. Finally, he looked back at the puppy prince, who was still raising his head to look at them. He seemed to be watching all of this with curiosity. Gu Jingza snorted and narrowed his eyes. He grabbed the dog and said to Lin Che, Are you going to open the door or not? Fine, I won't open it. He really spoiled her too much. Whenever there was a problem, she would close the door and not let him in. Fine, fine, you won't come out, right? If you don't come out, I'll strangle your dog to death right now. You. Lin Che didn't believe that Gu Jingze would do that. But Gu Jingze's voice sounded like he was really angry. What if he really pinched the prince in a fit of anger? One had to know that he had always hated the prince. The more Lin Che thought about it, the more worried he got. Gu Jingze listened outside for a long time, but he didn't hear Lin Che's voice. Was she really so angry that she didn't even care about the prince's life? Gu Jingze was about to put the prince down when the door opened. Lin Che looked outside worriedly. Seeing that Gu Jingze was really carrying the prince, he ran over in fright. Gu Jingze, you really want to strangle the prince to death? That's too cruel. Lin Che rushed over to snatch the prince away. Seeing this, Gu Jingze grabbed the prince and left. Tell me what's going on first. Otherwise, don't even think about keeping this stupid dog. No, give me the dog first. Ha, I'm not giving it to you. Come and snatch it. If you slip and fall, don't regret it then. Gu Jingze straightened his back and walked down. Lin Che followed behind him. Gu Jingze, you're too despicable. A real man can't be ruthless. Haven't you heard of that? The servant was even more puzzled. She saw Gu Jingze running with the dog in his arms, and Madame chasing after him for the dog. What was going on? Gu Jingze said, "Are you going to tell me or not?" Humph, Gu Jingze, you only know how to bully me. If you have the guts, go bully someone else. You bullied me, and now you're bullying my prince. Gu Jingze said, "What's wrong? Don't you know very well whether I have the guts or not? But even if I have the guts, I still bully you, not others." Why did she feel that this bullying was a little strange? Lin Che was stunned for a moment, but she didn't forget that she was settling scores with him. She couldn't listen to his sweet nothings anymore. This man was so bad. This time, she definitely couldn't let him off easily. You have to return the prince to me. We can try. Are you going to tell me or not? If you don't, I'll make my move immediately. Do you really want to take the risk? Humph. Gu Jingze, you. If you dare to touch the prince, I'll fight you. Ha, I want to see how you're going to fight. Lin Che tried to snatch the prince away. Gu Jingze really grabbed the prince and hung him in the air, as if he was going to throw him down. Lin Che was instantly furious. Although she didn't think that Gu Jingze would do it, she was still angry. You. Gu Jingze, just you wait. Are you going to tell me or not? Gu Jingze raised his eyebrows and looked at her. Lin Che shouted angrily, Okay, I'll tell you. Gu Jingze, you're shameless. You went to the hospital with Mo Huiling, right? The maternity hospital. Gu Jingze frowned. How did you know? Lin Che said, just tell me if it's true or not. Yes, of course he had been there. Gu Jingze didn't expect her to know. It was just a farce that Mo Huiling had put on, so he didn't bother to tell her again. He thought that Lin Che wouldn't know, but he didn't expect her to know about it. Lin Che looked at his expression and understood that it had indeed happened. She knew that it had happened, but he tacitly agreed to it. She was very angry all of a sudden and shouted at him. Humph, just you wait. Then she snatched the prince away and walked out. Lin Che, come back here. Gu Jingze shouted. You can lock yourself in the bedroom again. I can still go in. Lin Che said, Okay. I know you can go in. I won't go to the bedroom then. You can go in and stay in the bedroom. What? Lin Che opened the door and walked out with the prince in his arms. Hey, Lin Che. Gu Jingze stood at the door. You, come back here. Lin Che left as soon as she said she would. Outside, she hailed a taxi, but she didn't know where to go. Go to Ah Bai's place? It was too close. What if Gu Jingze rushed over in a while? Go to the company? There was no place to stay. There were only a few people in the staff dormitory, and it was already full. It wouldn't be good for her to bring a dog to stay there. Lin Che first went to the bustling area near the shopping mall and prepared to find a hotel to stay. Entering an ordinary hotel, she brought the dog to the front desk. Miss, do you have a room? The receptionist looked at the dog in her arms. Sorry, our hotel doesn't allow puppies to stay in. I'm homeless now and want to find a place to stay for a while. I won't be staying for long. Chapter 668. The receptionist said, "Sorry, this is our hotel policy." At this moment, someone shouted from behind, "Wow, Lin Che. Quick look, is it Lin Che?" Lin Che had been discovered. Fans began to shout and run over from behind. "Lin Che, Lin Che. Lin Che, can I take a picture with you? Can I have your autograph? Wow, is this your pet dog?" Lin Che smiled and said to everyone, Sorry, I have something urgent to do today." Prince was still in her arms. She could not throw him anywhere, nor could he be squeezed. She hugged the dog and said apologetically. However, the fans around them were already screaming so loudly that they could not hear anything. More and more people surrounded them. Lin Che squeezed out of the crowd. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation, and he didn't know how to leave. But then, a car stopped at the entrance. Lin Che. Lin Che was stunned. The car window rolled down and a man wearing sunglasses appeared. It was Liu Beichen. Lin Che said, "Liu Beichen, you, come get in." Lin Che hurriedly nodded, opened the car door, and got into the car. Thanks to Liu Beichen's sudden appearance, Lin Che was finally able to escape from the encirclement and quickly left the place. Lin Che looked back at the crowd who were still shouting her name and sighed. She looked at Prince and said, Thank God, thank God." Liu Beichen smiled as he drove and looked at Lin Che through the rearview mirror. "What happened? Where's your man? Didn't you bring him?" Lin Che smiled embarrassedly. "I have a problem with Gu Jingze." "Problem?" Liu Beichen looked at Lin Che curiously and asked, "The problem is, you had a fight?" "About that, it must be. Oh, I get it now. You had a fight and wanted to stay in a hotel. That's why you're being surrounded here, right?" Lin Che scratched his head. "How did you guess?" "Of course, Gu Jingyan comes here every now and then and runs away after a fight. I know her routine." "Okay, but how did you know I was here?" "I was eating nearby. When I came over, I heard a lot of people shouting Lin Che's name and rushing over here. I came over to take a look and saw you surrounded. Fortunately, you came. Thank you. It doesn't matter, but where are you going now?" Lin Che stroked the prince's white fur. "I will find a hotel to stay in." Liu Beichen looked at Lin Che for a while before saying, "Why are you going to a hotel? It's too dangerous for you to stay in a hotel alone. Besides, you're a public figure, so it's even more dangerous. Why don't you stay at my place?" "I don't think it's a good idea to go to your house." "It's fine. Although the Liu family's house isn't as big as the Gu family, we still have a lot of spare rooms. Besides, my father likes you a lot. He will be happy to have you over. Jing Yan has been at home a lot lately. You can chat with her. Isn't that better than living outside?" But, on one hand, Lin Che felt that it was too much trouble for him. On the other hand, he felt that if Gu Jingze went to the Liu family to look for him, Liu Beichen wouldn't just hand him over. Liu Beichen seemed to understand Lin Che's thoughts from her expression. He said directly, "Don't worry. If Gu Jingze comes, I'll teach him a lesson for you." Liu Beichen raised an eyebrow. He held the steering wheel and said, "Hey, it's fine. He was the one who taught me a lesson. This time, I can finally teach him a lesson." Liu Beichen smiled. "So don't worry. I won't hand you over to Gu Jingze easily. It's not easy to get this opportunity. I'll help you make him admit his mistake." "Oh yeah, you haven't told me the reason. Why are you angry?" Lin Che felt embarrassed to say it. She pursed her lips and thought that it was just a small matter. If she said it out loud, people would laugh at her. Liu Beichen said, "Something that's not convenient to say?" "No, it's just some trivial matters," Lin Che said, blushing. Liu Beichen laughed. "Trivial matters? I'm the most experienced one. Look at me and Jing Yan. When did we not quarrel over trivial matters? We've quarreled over all the trivial matters. I understand that if two people can't get along, the matter isn't important. What's important is the mood. If you want to quarrel, you'll quarrel no matter what. Am I right?" Lin Che thought about it and felt that what Liu Beichen said made sense. Indeed, Lin Che did not quarrel with Gu Jingze because of this matter. Perhaps it was because she was still under a lot of pressure. Ever since the incident with Mo Huiling, She had been thinking about trusting Gu Jingze and not letting outsiders affect their relationship. So she had never vented her emotions. She was a person who revealed her emotions easily. This time, she forced herself to suppress her emotions. That was why she felt a little awkward. This time, she was using this as a pretext to create trouble for Gu Jingze. Lin Che thought about it and briefly explained the situation to Liu Beichen. Although Gu Jingze didn't like Liu Beichen because of Gu Jingyan, Lin Che thought that Liu Beichen was a good person and was trustworthy. Liu Beichen immediately slapped the steering wheel and said, "That's outrageous. TSK, I'll definitely teach him a lesson for you. How could he take Mo Huiling to the hospital when you were not in the country? Even if there was a reason, he should have at least confessed to you in advance. Seriously, how could he hide such a thing? You're right to leave. Just wait and see. When he comes looking for you, I'll help you give him a good scolding." Lin Che pouted. She thought to herself that he did not come looking for her after she left. Who knew what he was doing? When Lin Che arrived at the Liu family's house, Liu Beichen asked the servants to prepare a room for her. Liu Tingyu soon found out that Lin Che had arrived. He quickly asked the kitchen to prepare a delicious meal and invited Lin Che to join them. In the dining room, Liu Tingyu looked at Lin Che and said happily, "It's great that you can stay here for a while. Stay for a few more days. Just let us know if you need anything." Gu Jingyan came over quickly. She looked at Lin Che and said, "I heard from Liu Beichen. What's wrong? You two have started quarreling. How could my second brother bear to quarrel with you?" "Well," Liu Beichen snatched over and said, "Why? Your second brother can't quarrel? All men in the world are the same. Your second brother is no exception. What do you think?" Gu Jingyan glared at him and said, "You only know how to defend yourself. My second brother is different from you, okay?" Lin Che smiled embarrassedly. Liu Tingyu said, "All right, Beichen. Do you think everyone is like you?" He quickly asked the servants to fill Lin Che's food and said, "Ignore them. Eat more." Lin Che smiled and said, "Thank you, Uncle Liu." Chapter 669. On the other side. Gu Jingze had asked someone to follow them early in the morning. He heard that Lin Che had gone to the hotel first and was then taken away by Liu Beichen. He immediately called Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen had expected that he would call, so he said on purpose, "What's the matter? You're the great CEO Gu. Why are you calling me?" "Cut the crap and send her back," Gu Jingze said bluntly on the other end of the line. "Oh my, send her back? Why should I? You bullied her and didn't allow her to run away from home. If you want her to go back, come and pick her up yourself. I'm not going to send her back." "Liu Beichen, I'll give you another chance. Send her back to me." Gu Jingze's voice became even lower. Liu Beichen laughed. He thought that Gu Jingze's expression must be very funny. "I said I won't see you off, so I won't see you off. I'm standing on the side of reason. It's your fault for being involved with your ex-girlfriend and going to the hospital with her behind your wife's back. You asked for it. Say, at a time like this, I should give you a few words to reflect my current mood," Liu Beichen said happily. He even crossed his legs. "You deserve it." Gu Jingze really wanted to beat him up. However, Liu Beichen hung up the phone at the right time. He smiled at the phone and went out to see Lin Che. Lin Che called Bai and told her that he would not be staying at the Gu family's house for the time being. Bai didn't say anything and only said that she would see him at the company tomorrow. Gu Jingze then called but Lin Che didn't pick up. Liu Beichen looked at him and said to him, "He should be going crazy at home now. Ignore him. Men should be hung out to dry at the right time." Lin Che felt that Liu Beichen was a bit of a prankster. Liu Beichen said, "You didn't bring anything with you. Jingyan said that she would go shopping with you later and buy some clothes to wear." Lin Che said, "Isn't Jingyan busy?" Liu Beichen said, "She won't be busy since you're here. Go pack up. I'll drive you." Lin Che nodded and agreed. When they went out, Gu Jingyan had already packed up. She looked at Lin Che and said, "Little sister-in-law, let's go. You're the most influential person in the world. I asked Liu Beichen to be my chauffeur, but he must have been very reluctant. Now that you're here, he immediately offered to do it." Liu Beichen said, "Of course. You have so many chauffeurs. You don't need me." Lin Che is our family's VIP now. Of course, I have to serve her. Moreover, she is an important hostage to keep your second brother in check. Whether she can make Gu Jingza mad depends on her. How can you have such an important identity? Your second brother would even look at you? Really? Why did Lin Che feel like he had been tricked by him? He made it sound like he was being kidnapped, but this was the first time he saw the kidnapper so happy just to make the other party go crazy. Lin Che said, "Since you're holding me hostage, can you say something behind my back? Is it good to respect a hostage?" "No need. Isn't this a win-win situation? You and I both want to teach Gu Jingza a lesson, don't you?" "Okay." Lin Che knew that he liked to joke. Gu Jingyan couldn't be bothered with this childish man. She said to Lin Che, "Let's go, sister-in-law. Liu Beichen will pay for everything today. Let's go shopping." When they arrived at the shopping mall, Liu Beichen followed behind. He watched speechlessly as the two women in front of him held hands and started shopping. Lin Che finally understood what it meant to really buy. Gu Jingyan's purchasing power was no less than her second brother's. Whenever they went to a shop, she would buy whatever she liked. She didn't even think about whether she really liked it or not. She would just buy whatever she liked at first sight. Behind them, Liu Beichen paid with his card. He spent so much money that his hands were sore. He said speechlessly, "Aren't you tired? You've walked so many places." Gu Jingyan said, "Tired already? This is only the second shopping mall, okay?" Liu Beichen said, "The second shopping mall. Don't you have the cheek to say that? Do you want to see the record on my phone? How many steps have we walked? 20,000 steps. Almost 20,000 steps, okay? Do you know how many kilometers this is?" Gu Jingyan said, "That's a lot." "Sister-in-law, are you tired?" "Me? I'm fine," Lin Che said. Shopping wasn't the same as usual. Usually, it would be tiring to walk so much, but shopping wasn't tiring at all. Gu Jingyan turned around and looked at Liu Beichen disdainfully. "You're too weak." Liu Beichen really couldn't take it anymore. "They're all the same clothes. Can't you just buy a few and leave? Let's find a place to eat something. I can't take it anymore. My legs are about to break." Gu Jingyan sighed. "You're too weak. You can see a man's stamina from this aspect." "Hey you," Gu Jingyan said, "let's go. We've bought enough clothes for a few days." She thought for a moment and turned to Liu Beichen. "Bring these clothes to the car first. Sister-in-law and I are going to shop for a while. Don't follow us." Liu Beichen couldn't wait for her to leave. "Okay, I'll wait for you in the car. Hurry up and stop shopping." Gu Jingyan said, "Hee, sister-in-law, let's go. Let's go buy our things." Lin Che said, "What else are we going to buy?" Gu Jingyan said, "We're going to buy underwear. We have to buy a few sets to change into." "Sister-in-law, you didn't bring anything when you came out. You're too inexperienced. Next time, remember not to bring anything else, but you must bring a box of underwear. Otherwise, what you buy now is not as comfortable as wearing it for a long time. Everything else is new, but underwear really has to be worn a few times before it becomes comfortable." Lin Che was speechless. She was really too experienced. They casually walked into a lingerie shop. Inside, there were so many clothes for her son that it was dazzling. Seeing the two of them come in, the shop assistant hurried over. Gu Jingyan said, "Wow, this is so beautiful. Sister-in-law, if you wear it, you'll definitely burst out." Lin Che looked down. Damn, it was so transparent. "I don't want it. Are you kidding me?" "I'm not kidding. If you wear this and appear in front of second brother, he'll definitely cry tears of regret and wonder why he quarreled with you for no reason. He'll immediately kneel down and beg for mercy and be obedient to you from then on." Hey. Don't talk nonsense. I don't want to wear this. I don't care. I'm going to buy it for sister-in-law as a gift for her. Hey, you really don't want it. I don't want it. No, you can't. I've already bought it. Sister-in-law can't bear to reject me. You must wear it. Gu Jingyan went to pay the bill. Lin Che hurriedly stopped her from doing so. Just like that, the two of them laughed and joked around until they reached the counter. The shop assistant didn't say anything and let the two of them fight. Naturally, if someone casually spent hundreds of thousands in a shop, the shop assistant wouldn't care if they fought or not. Chapter 670. The shop assistant said good-naturedly, "Miss, you can try it on. It's not so translucent, and our cotton is very comfortable. Even if you wear it yourself, it's still very comfortable." Lin Che protested. She didn't want it. But it didn't work. Gu Jingyan had already paid for it. Lin Che was still protesting outside. "Since you bought it, you can wear it." "I won't wear it anyway." No. This is your size. I don't have a cup as big as yours. I can't wear it." "Shut up. I won't wear it anyway." "You don't want to, sister-in-law? Look at my sincerity." When they were outside, Liu Beichen was there and they couldn't discuss it anymore. Liu Beichen waited for them for a long time before they came out. He held his stomach and complained that he was hungry. The three of them found a restaurant nearby to eat. "My second brother brought you here before, right?" Lin Che looked around. He had indeed brought her here before. It was a Chinese restaurant. He had booked a private room here. He had met Mo Huiling here before and had a fight with her. So he didn't come here often. Because Mo Huiling had misunderstood that this was the room Gu Jingze booked for her, Gu Jingze thought that she would feel uncomfortable. Actually, Lin Che didn't think it was a big deal. He just remembered it as soon as he came in. Gu Jingyan said, "I come here often. Hee, my second brother booked it and then forgot about it. Now the bill is still on him. I've spent a lot of my second brother's money here." "Are you really brother and sister? You're hurting each other." But money wasn't the most important thing in a family like theirs, so they didn't think it was a big deal to spend money on each other. Anyway, they had a lot of money. It was just a drop in the bucket. The three of them went to the room Gu Jingze had booked. Gu Jingyan ordered a table full of dishes. Liu Beichen said, "You're so good at walking. Don't you feel pain in your legs?" Gu Jingyan said, "You're too weak. How can you feel pain in your legs?" TSK. You're good." Lin Che looked at them with a smile. He felt that it was a happy thing for them to be childhood sweethearts and well-matched in terms of social status. But they didn't feel it. Lin Che left the room for the couple who were about to quarrel and went out to get some fresh air. However, the moment he came out, he bumped into Mo Huiling again. She really had a special liking for this place. Seeing Lin Che coming out of the private room, Mo Huiling asked in surprise, "Are you here to eat with Jingze?" Lin Che saw her big belly at first glance. It looked more and more obvious. She swaggered through the streets without any scruples, never once thinking of hiding her stomach. It even seemed like it liked to show more of its belly. Lin Che looked at her. "No, I'm not with him." Mo Huiling paused, then remembered, "Ah, right, this is the private room that Jingze booked. Just put his name on it." At this time, two chattering women followed Mo Huiling. They were Mo Huiling's good friends in her circle. When they saw Lin Che, they were also stunned. They had been worried that they would meet Gu Jingze's wife when they came here for dinner with Mo Huiling. However, they suddenly remembered that Mo Huiling was pregnant. Although she was Gu Jingze's wife, so what? The guilt she felt when she first saw Lin Che turned into arrogance. She looked at Lin Che with disdain and said to Mo Huiling, "Oh my, it's really a small world." Mo Huiling looked at Lin Che with a smile. "I know you're just like me. You take advantage of the fact that Gu Jingze has booked a room here and bring your poor friends here for dinner, right? But don't spend too much money. Gu Jingze won't be happy. Although you have no money and spend everything on Gu Jingze, it's better to save as much as you can, right?" After Mo Huiling met Gu Jingze here, she could no longer use this place to invite her friends. Actually, she hadn't been here for a long time. It was a little expensive here, but the boss had said in front of her friends that Gu Jingze had said not to put her bill on Gu Jingze's account, which made her feel so embarrassed that she didn't want to come here anymore. This time, a few of her friends urged her to come here, so she came. Lin Che thought that he wasn't like her. She had never brought her friends here. This time, it was Gu Jingyan who brought her here. She said, "Thank you for your reminder, but I'm his wife. I'm different from you." Did she mean that it was natural for her to spend Gu Jingze's money? Mo Huiling was really angry, especially when she said that in front of her friends. "Lin Che, what's different? Aren't you the same? Otherwise, why wouldn't you leave Gu Jingza when I'm pregnant? Why don't I believe it? It must be because you don't care, because it's already good enough for you to be with Gu Jingza. Lin Che looked at her with a smile. Think whatever you want. Mo Huiling said, I sent you a photo of Gu Jingza accompanying me to the hospital, but you didn't react. Your thinking is actually not wrong. Without Gu Jingza, what are you? Since you can accept my child, it means that we can get along well. We just need to pretend that the other party doesn't exist. Don't you think so? Perhaps in the upper class, many people did this, but Lin Che would never and couldn't accept it. She said, you're wrong. I can't be bothered with you because I trust Gu Jingza. If it's true, why are you and Gu Jingza quarreling now? Lin Che was stunned. How did she know about her quarrel with Gu Jingza? Mo Huiling said, don't think about it. There aren't many secrets in this circle. Many people know that you ran away from home today. I thought that Gu Jingza had coaxed you so quickly, but now it seems that he hasn't. I know you're very angry, but it's true that Gu Jingza accompanied me to the hospital. If the child isn't his, why did he accompany me to the hospital? How did he explain it to you? To lie to you and say that he went with me to get an abortion? Then I advise you not to believe him. How could I possibly abort the child with him? Mo Huiling didn't know what Gu Jingza had said to Lin Che, so she said that on purpose. Lin Che had nothing to say, but he couldn't retaliate at this moment. Actually, it had been like this for a while, so she felt a little annoyed. Even though she really believed in Gu Jingza, she was still annoyed at being suspected like this. Seeing that Lin Che didn't say anything, Mo Huiling sneered and said, now that you've run away from home and don't have money to eat, are you here to freeload off Gu Jingza's things? Really? In the end, it still doesn't belong to Gu Jingza. You really can't live without Gu Jingza, right? Chapter 671. The girls beside her quickly said, all right, Huiling. She's not from our circle. She's poor and has no money. If she doesn't spend Gu Jingza's money, who else would she spend it on? Now that she has run away from home, there's no turning back. She must be regretting it. Why don't we treat her to dinner? It seems that Gu Jingza hasn't come to look for her yet. Maybe he's tired of her and doesn't want to look for her anymore. After all, he has a child with you and has been together for so many years. For the sake of the child and the heir, he can't be bothered with Lin Che anymore. Lin Che, we advise you not to make a scene at this time. The more you make a scene, the more you will be hated. Aren't you afraid that you won't be able to go back after leaving home? Everyone looked at Lin Che disdainfully. They felt that Lin Che was really pitiful for Mo Huiling to carry such a big belly. Mo Huiling was looking at Lin Che with a smug expression. However, at this moment, Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen rushed out after being notified by the waiter. Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen appeared immediately. Seeing Lin Che and Mo Huiling, Liu Beichen walked over. What's going on? What happened? Gu Jingyan said, hey sister-in-law, why is she here? Mo Huiling's eyes went blank as she watched the two girls walk behind Lin Che. She looked at Liu Beichen and her heart tightened. She still felt a lingering fear after being chased by him the last time. And this time, Gu Jingyan was with them. Why were they here with Lin Che for dinner? Lin Che's expression changed when he saw that the two girls were afraid of Liu Beichen. She smiled and said, it's okay. They have a lot of experience in dealing with mistresses. I don't know if it's because they have been mistresses for many years or because they have been cheated on for many years. Anyway, they can share with me how to get along with mistresses and how to win back their husband's heart. It's a pity that I don't need it. The two girls' faces turned red with anger when they heard the sarcasm. But seeing that the three of them had suddenly lost their imposing manner, they didn't dare to say anything to Lin Che. Liu Beichen had a bad reputation. They didn't want to be implicated. Gu Jingyan almost burst out laughing. Instead, he looked at Mo Huiling's big belly and said, this is also the first time I've seen a mistress being so open and aboveboard. Most importantly, this mistress was the one who insisted on giving herself this title. How many times did he say that no one knows where the child came from? He won't touch you at all. You should know better than anyone else whether he can touch you or not. Yet, you can still walk around with a big belly. Is this really okay? Don't you feel ashamed? Your family doesn't feel ashamed of you at all? Mo Huiling looked at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan, I know you've never liked me since we were young, but I'm sure you've seen the relationship between me and your brother for so many years. I want to take back what belongs to me. What's there to be embarrassed about? Feelings? That's called feelings? Gu Jingyan said, that's called wishful thinking. If all wishful thinking in the world had to be reciprocated, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Liu Beichen stopped Gu Jingyan and said, all right, stop talking to her. Where's the manager? On the other side, the manager had already hurried over. Liu Beichen said, what kind of restaurant is this? How dare you bring in just anyone? Get this person out of here. The manager was stunned. He looked at Mo Huiling's belly. How dare he? Wasn't that Gu Jing's child? Liu Beichen saw that the manager was hesitating. He glared at him and said, what? Didn't you hear what I said? Young Master Liu, our restaurant is just a small business. A meal costs tens of thousands and you call it a small business? Do you still want to open up? Oh, you think that I don't have any say in this? Are you going to make things difficult for me and side with the mistress? All right then. I don't think there's a need to open a restaurant like this. No, young Master Liu. It's just that she's pregnant. We're afraid that something might happen to her. The manager said hurriedly. Mo Huiling puffed out her belly and said, you dare to touch me? Liu Beichen, if anything happens to my child, don't even think about getting away with it. The two girls at the back didn't dare to speak anymore. They just raised their heads and looked at Liu Beichen's reaction expectantly. They were still in a public place. Liu Beichen probably wouldn't dare to use force. However, it was obvious that Liu Beichen wasn't as easy to deal with as they thought. Liu Beichen said directly, manager, you don't have to be responsible for her life or death. No matter what happens, just tell them my name. However, if she's still here, your restaurant. He shifted his gaze from Mo Huiling to the manager coldly and said, you might as well close down this restaurant. The manager trembled all over. He looked at Liu Beichen as if he couldn't accept the fact. Liu Beichen said, I know that my reputation in City B isn't very good. But let me tell you now. These comments are all true. I'm just like that. If you want to fight with me, I'll spare no effort to get you out of my sight. The manager was even more afraid now. He weighed his options and quickly thought to himself. Liu Beichen had always been a man of his word. Especially in this aspect. He wouldn't let off anyone who provoked him. No matter what he did, he would destroy the other party. He was a devil incarnate. No one could do anything to him. In the end, the manager could only look at Mo Huiling speechlessly. Mo Huiling's eyes widened. No, you can't do this to me. You can't, however. Liu Beichen stood there with his hands behind his back. His face was undeniably determined. The manager hurriedly waved his hand and asked someone to get Mo Huiling out. In comparison, Liu Beichen was still the scarier one. Mo Huiling screamed angrily as she was being dragged out. Liu Beichen. Lin Che, just you wait. Just you wait. A few people were also watching. They wanted to help Mo Huiling up, but they didn't dare to. They didn't expect that Liu Beichen and Gu Jingyan would come with Lin Che. They had heard that Lin Che had a quarrel with Gu Jingza and was chased out. In the end, Lin Che came to have dinner with Gu Jingza's sister and brother-in-law. It didn't seem tragic at all. It was obviously a family matter. Mo Huiling was being escorted out. She screamed and looked at the people around her who were looking at her curiously. Her face turned pale and her eyes moved. She suddenly felt a pain in her stomach. She sat on the ground and screamed, "No, doctor. Hurry up and call the doctor. My stomach, my baby." Chapter 672. Mo Huiling was quickly sent to the hospital. The two girls followed her to the hospital. Mo Huiling covered her stomach with her hands, feeling angry and indignant. The people on both sides said, "Huiling, we had no choice. We wanted to help you, but you know how scary Liu Beichen is. He doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. We knew that we couldn't win against him, so forget it, it's fine." Although Mo Huiling felt that they were not loyal, she thought about it and decided to let it go. If she were in their shoes, she wouldn't dare to say such things either. However, Mo Huiling still pinched the bed angrily. When she saw her father rushing over, she called out to him, "Dad, Lin Che is such a bully. Look, I was chased out just like that. If my belly, my child, were to suffer even the slightest bit of harm, I won't let them off." Papa Mo hurriedly called someone to check on Mo Huiling. In the end, he said that it was because of the emotional turmoil that the baby was unstable. He gave her an injection and told her to rest well. Because the baby was born through a test tube, it was easy to miscarry at this stage. It was best for Mo Huiling to rest in bed for a while. Mo Huiling blamed it on Lin Che when she heard this. Papa Mo said, "All right, don't be anxious. I'll call Gu Jingza. How can he not care about Lin Che? This is outrageous. What kind of taste does he have for a pregnant woman?" Gu Jingyan followed Lin Che out. As they walked, she said, "Sister-in-law, I realize that you're quite good at mocking people." "What?" "The part about the mistress. Aya, it's so classic." Gu Jingyan tugged at Lin Che. "Sister-in-law, you've really learned to be so mean when you're with second brother. You can scold people without using vulgarities. I'm so impressed." Liu Beichen said, "All right, I've checked. It seems that Gu Jingza has gone to the Liu family. Let's not go home yet." Gu Jingyan said, "Why?" "Second brother must have gone to look for sister-in-law." "What do you know? If we make a scene at home, it won't be good for my dad to be at home. Plus, we're outside. No one will care no matter how much we make a scene. Hee, let's not go back. When Gu Jingza comes here, I'll see how he will kneel and beg for mercy." "No way." He was too thoughtful just to mess with Gu Jingza. Liu Beichen said and took Lin Che and Gu Jingyan to the bar. They ordered some snacks and drinks in the bar. Gu Jingyan was there too. She wanted to drink but Liu Beichen stopped her. He snatched the menu from her and said, "You're not a good drinker. Just drink some orange juice." "What?" "I don't want to drink it. I want bubble water." Gu Jingyan snatched the menu back and continued to order. She also ordered a glass of bubble water for Lin Che. In the booth of the bar, someone saw Lin Che and muttered, "Is that Lin Che? I think it's Lin Che." However, just as he was about to walk over, he noticed the look in Liu Beichen's eyes and immediately retracted his gaze. He felt that Liu Beichen was really scary. Liu Beichen tugged at the front of his shirt with both hands to make it look neat. He looked up and saw that Gu Jingza had really arrived. "Hey, you came so fast." Lin Che was still drinking water. When he heard Liu Beichen's words, he almost spat it out. He turned around and saw that Gu Jingza had already arrived. His face was as cold as ice. When he saw the three of them, he quickly walked over. Lin Che suddenly wanted to stand up. Being chased by him and looking at his calm gaze, she couldn't help but feel a little guilty, as if something about her had been discovered. However, when she thought about it carefully, she realized what she had done. She ran away from home because Gu Jingza had done something wrong. What was she afraid of? It must be because Gu Jingza's aura was too strong that people who were stared at by him would involuntarily feel guilty. Gu Jingza walked over. He looked at Liu Beichen and then at Lin Che. Then, he grabbed Lin Che's hand. "Come back with me," he said. Lin Che raised her head. She was surprised to feel that her hand was being held by him. Liu Beichen immediately grabbed Gu Jingza's hand and said, "Hey, Gu Jingza, what are you doing? You're trying to snatch her away the moment you arrive. Do you have any respect for me?" Gu Jingza looked at Liu Beichen and said, "What are you doing? I want to bring my wife home and I have to ask for your permission. Do I have any respect for you? Of course, Lin Che is now an important guest in my house. Since she's staying in my house, of course I have to take responsibility for her safety." Liu Beichen crossed his arms in front of his chest. He looked as if it was a matter of course. Gu Jingza couldn't be bothered with him. He looked at Lin Che and said, "Do you want to go back with me?" Liu Beichen stood in front of Lin Che and said, "What are you doing? Are you threatening Lin Che?" Gu Jingza really wanted to punch Liu Beichen's annoying face. "Get out of my way, Liu Beichen. What are you doing? Are you trying to fight with me?" Liu Beichen raised his eyebrows and said, "If you insist on fighting, I'll have to play along. How can I let you take Lin Che away after what you've done to her?" Gu Jingza frowned deeply and explained in a low voice, "What did I do to Lin Che?" Liu Beichen said, "What else? You bullied her, of course. You two timed her and lied for no reason. You even tried to deny it when you were caught. Gu Jingze was speechless. He felt that Liu Beichen was getting more and more annoying. He looked at Lin Che, who was standing behind him. She was pouting and staring at the floor, looking angry as well. Gu Jingze had no choice but to say, Lin Che, I accompanied Mo Huiling to the hospital because she said she wanted to have an abortion. That's why I went with her. Lin Che's eyes lit up and she looked up. Mo Huiling also said today that you would definitely say that you accompanied her to have an abortion. So that's how it is. Does Miss Mo know you too well? Gu Jingze said she said that? You saw her today? Yeah, at the restaurant that you used to go to together. Gu Jingze rubbed his forehead. He wanted to say something but Liu Beichen interrupted him again. All right, anyway, it's too late for you to explain now. You should have said it when it happened. That was honesty. What do you call this now? This is sophistry, isn't it, Lin Che? Liu Beichen touched Lin Che's shoulder. Lin Che nodded. That's right, that's right. Gu Jingze was speechless. You guys, Liu Beichen said, so now that you've done something wrong, it's impossible for Lin Che to go back with you. Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che. Are you really going to side with him? Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze. Although her heart softened a little, but thinking that she really had to teach him a lesson, she steeled herself. Chapter 673. If she didn't teach him a lesson, he would still bully her. Humph. I'm still a guest at the Liu family. I don't want to go back for now. Gu Jingze's face fell. Liu Beichen raised an eyebrow and said, Did you hear what Lin Che said? Gu Jingze stared at Liu Beichen and said, If you have nothing better to do, why don't you go somewhere else and join in the fun? Liu Beichen said, Why would I go somewhere else? This was the first time he had seen the great CEO Gu so embarrassed. If he didn't join in the fun, why would he join in the fun? Was there something wrong with him? Liu Beichen looked at Gu Jingze as if he was enjoying the show, looking even more irritating. Seeing Liu Beichen's reaction, Gu Jingze gritted his teeth and held back his anger. He tried his best to pretend that Liu Beichen didn't exist and said to Lin Che, Lin Che, come home with me. We'll talk when we get home. I have something else to tell you. I said I don't want to. I haven't stayed at the Liu family house for long enough. You. Gu Jingze glanced at Liu Beichen. He knew that he wouldn't be able to take Lin Che away if he was here. With him messing around, he wouldn't be able to say anything. He still had to take Lin Che away first. If he was alone with Lin Che, he would be able to negotiate. Hence, when he saw Liu Beichen putting on airs, he suddenly walked past him and went to grab Lin Che. Liu Beichen obviously didn't expect this either. When Gu Jingze walked past him, he couldn't help but curse, Fuck, Gu Jingze, are you really going to snatch him away? As he said this, he flew over and hugged Gu Jingze from behind. Lin Che was shocked by this scene. What was going on? Liu Beichen hugged Gu Jingze's waist and he was quickly pulled back. Gu Jingze gritted his teeth and wanted to pry Liu Beichen's hands off him, but he couldn't use too much force since he was behind him. He could only call out Liu Beichen's name with a dark expression. Liu Beichen, let go of me. How dare you snatch him away? You want to take Lin Che away without any benefits? That's impossible. Liu Beichen didn't have such a big lump in his arms. Being shaken left and right by him, he was already panting. However, he still didn't stop. Both of them were very strong, and they usually trained their bodies so their physiques were very strong. It felt like they were evenly matched, especially when no one was giving in to the other. Gu Jingze looked at the bar's security guard, who was looking at him in surprise. He said directly, Take this man away. Liu Beichen looked back and said hurriedly, What are you talking about? If you dare come over, I'll smash your bar. Smash it. Let him smash it. I'll compensate you double how much he smashes. Let's see who dares to come over. I'll smash as much as he compensates. Anyway, he has money, so he's not afraid of compensation. I also have martial arts, so I'm not afraid of smashing. It's just that your shop probably won't be able to open anymore. The shop assistants looked at each other. What should they do? One of them was Gu Jingze, and the other was Liu Beichen. A big brother and a brother-in-law, how did they end up fighting? Were they really fighting, or were they just playing around? If they were just playing around, they wouldn't dare to come in and disturb them. If they were really fighting, they wouldn't dare to come in and get involved. However, they didn't seem to be really angry. Their actions were just too intense, and they immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the bar. Lin Che watched as the two of them hugged each other, then looked at the surrounding people's gazes. He suddenly felt embarrassed to death. Could they be any more childish? Gu Jingyan couldn't stand it anymore. Seeing the two of them in a stalemate, she crossed her arms and said, "Hey, are you guys done fighting? Let's go back and find another place to fight. Don't make a public performance here, okay?" Gu Jingyan's eyes lit up. She looked at Gu Jingyan. Lin Che hurriedly frowned and shouted, "Gu Jingza, are you really going to cause trouble here? Can you stop fighting?" Gu Jingza and Liu Beichen couldn't hear the voices of the others. Gu Jingza was focused on breaking his arm, and Liu Beichen hugged him tightly. The two of them rolled on the ground. Everyone screamed and retreated. Looking at the two of them, whose faces were red, they couldn't help but wonder if they had really started fighting. If the Gu family and the Liu family were to fight, Country C would be chaotic in the future. However, even though the two of them were very childish, they didn't seem to be in a sorry state. Handsome men were indeed handsome. They looked good even when they were rolling on the ground. At this moment, Gu Jingza pulled Liu Beichen up. Liu Beichen held onto his waist and wouldn't let go. Gu Jingza looked down at Liu Beichen, who was hanging onto his waist. Okay, stop fooling around." He fell onto the sofa. Liu Beichen also fell onto the sofa. Seeing that Gu Jingza had given up on grabbing Lin Che, Liu Beichen observed for a moment and retracted his hand. He said, "I'm so tired. Hurry up and get me some cold beer. I'm sweating so much." Hearing this, the shop assistant hurriedly asked someone to get cold beer. Gu Jingza took one and drank it in one gulp. Lin Che and Gu Jingyan hurriedly walked to the side and sat opposite of the booth. They looked at the two of them speechlessly. Lin Che said, "I really don't know what the result of your fight is." Gu Jingyan said, "There's a result. Look, the people around are watching. It'll probably spread everywhere tomorrow." Indeed, everyone was still watching curiously. Seeing that the two of them had been fighting for a while, they suddenly sat down and seemed to be drinking beer calmly. The four of them looked very harmonious, completely different from before. They suddenly felt that city people really knew how to have fun. They couldn't understand why these rich people would have the hobby of fooling around with each other. Perhaps they were too familiar with each other, so they were fooling around like this. Liu Beichen was paralyzed there and Gu Jingza was also sitting there, looking bored. Liu Beichen said, "I haven't exercised in a long time. Seriously, I can't even beat you." Gu Jingza harumphed, looking down on him by drinking beer. Liu Beichen chuckled and said, "But without my approval, you still can't bring Lin Che back." Gu Jingza raised his brows and looked indifferent. "If that's the case, I'm not going to accept it." Gu Jingza stood up. Liu Beichen looked at him in surprise. "What are you doing?" Gu Jingza tidied up his clothes and said, "Your Liu family's house is so big. There should be room for me to stay in, right?" Liu Beichen thought about it and understood. He was going to stay there. "Hey Gu Jingza, what are you doing?" Gu Jingza smiled, looking as if he was scheming something. "I haven't had a good chat with my sister since she got married. This time, I'm going to stay at her in-laws' house for a while. Is that okay?" With that said, Gu Jingza looked at Lin Che who was sitting opposite him. That one look made Lin Che feel a cold breeze. She felt that Gu Jingza was saying, "I won't let you off. Watch how I deal with you this time." Chapter 674. Lin Che turned his head away guiltily. He almost wanted to follow them, but Liu Beichen stopped him. "Don't be afraid of him, I'll back you up. Don't worry, this isn't his territory, it's mine. I definitely won't let you suffer any losses." Lin Che looked at Liu Beichen like a little deer. She had been relying on him for the past few days. Liu Beichen drove the two of them back to the Liu residence. Sure enough, the Gu family's bodyguards were there. The helper came out and said in surprise, "Second young Master Gu just came and said that he wanted to stay for a few days. Old Master asked us to prepare a room, And now second young master has gone to visit old master. Lu Beichen said, "Hey, people always say that I'm shameless. I've finally met someone who's even more shameless than me. Is there anyone as bad as him? He's trying to blame someone else's house." Lin Che could only shrug his shoulders as he looked to the side. His heart sank. He had a feeling that the next few days wouldn't be easy. When Lin Che arrived at the Lu family, he quickly hid in his room. She did not dare to go out that day. If she was caught by Gu Jingze, she would definitely be killed. Gu Jingze got into a fight with someone in a bar. Thinking about it, she felt that she wasn't far from her 4th year. Lin Che took out his WeChat and saw that there were people discussing this matter. It was said that Gu Jingze and Lu Beichen had just fought for 300 rounds, and no one dared to stop them in a conspicuous place in the bar. Many people said regretfully, "Really? Did anyone take any photos? Why didn't you say so earlier? Why didn't I see it? What a pity. If I had known earlier, I would have gone there." That's the bar that Lu Beichen frequents. Later on, Lin Che found some comments about her, saying that she had a fight with Gu Jingze and was chased out of the house by him. It was said that someone from the same district had seen Lin Che walk out of his house without bringing anything with him, so he directly told them about it. These people really love to make groundless accusations. That night, Lin Che did not go out to eat. A servant knocked on the door and said, "Mrs. Gu, our young master and young mistress are having a barbecue in the backyard. They want you to go over." "Backyard?" "Yes, it's just over there. You'll know once you go over and take a look." Lin Che had no choice but to walk out. Seeing that Gu Jingze wasn't there, he secretly asked, "Where's Gu Jingze?" "Mr. Gu said he had work to do, so I'll be back." "That's great." Lin Che relaxed and took a step forward. He stretched and followed the servant out. Outside, the servant said, "Madam, this way please." Lin Che walked out of the courtyard and asked the servant, "Did they go out for a barbecue?" "That's right, madam. The houses here aren't so densely packed. There's a lot of open space, and behind it is an ecological park. This area is especially vast, so it's very suitable for playing. Young master often comes here to have barbecues." All right. This place was a little far from the city. Because Lu Tingyu liked quiet, he didn't buy a house in the city center. Instead, he lived in a place far away. Fortunately, the air was really good. It made people feel relaxed. She looked into the distance and saw the grill and the lights. Lu Beichen, Gu Jingyan, and Gu Jingze were all there. The moment Lin Che saw Gu Jingze, he felt his entire body shrink. "Didn't I say he wasn't here?" But Gu Jingyan had already seen Lin Che. She called out to her, "Come here, little sister-in-law. You're too slow." Lin Che had no choice but to walk over. Gu Jingze was sitting on a chair with his feet propped up on the high stool. He turned around and looked at Lin Che with his misty eyes, making people feel that he was full of conjectures. Lin Che quickly turned her head away. She found a seat furthest away from Gu Jingze and quickly sat down. Unexpectedly, Gu Jingze rubbed against her. Then, seeing that Lu Beichen was still focused on the barbecue, he rubbed against her again. By the time Lin Che realized it, he had already rubbed against Lin Che's danger zone. She quickly raised her head and looked at Gu Jingze. Gu Jingze said directly, "Lin Che, I apologize to you. I shouldn't have kept it from you." But Mo Huiling was going to have an abortion that day. But that day became a farce for her, so I didn't think it was necessary to tell you. Hearing this, Lin Che raised her head and looked at him. "Explain yourself. I'm listening. But it's up to me whether I believe you or not." "You, Lin Che." Lin Che turned his head away. Gu Jingze pursed his lips and continued to stare at Lin Che. After a while he turned his head and said, "All right, Lin Che, don't regret it." Lin Che harumphed. Gu Jingze glanced at her, got up and walked away. He seemed to be getting further and further away from Lin Che. Then, he slowly walked into the darkness. Lin Che felt a little strange. Her heart gradually turned cold. She couldn't help but think that she had gone too far. She was just throwing a tantrum. It seemed that she had taken it too seriously. Gu Jingyan raised her head and looked around. "Hey, where did my brother go?" Lin Che paused for a moment and stood up. "I'll go and take a look." She couldn't help but stand up and walk out. She looked around outside, but didn't see him. Her heart sank. Did he leave angrily? She looked around carefully. Suddenly, she saw Gu Jingza's figure standing alone in the darkness. Lin Che hurried over. Gu Jingza, she called out, but Gu Jingza didn't respond. Lin Che frowned and walked over. Are you angry? You have to think, Gu Jingza. I'm just like this and you're already so angry. Then when Mo Huiling said those things to me, how angry would I be? She walked up behind him and reached out to touch him. But she felt Gu Jingza move. In an instant, he pushed her hand away. You. Lin Che felt a little hurt. She didn't dare to touch him again. She was afraid that he would push her back again. She crossed her arms and stood there looking at him. All right, I know you're angry. You're right. Me running out like this will make you lose face. I even made you fight with someone in a bar. It will also affect your reputation, but, before Lin Che could finish speaking, he suddenly felt something around him suddenly light up. Something suddenly scattered from the surroundings. Lin Che didn't understand it at first. Then, he suddenly realized that the surroundings were scattered all over the place. Weren't they fireflies? The fireflies were like stars in the sky, drifting over bit by bit from afar. In an instant, the green light scattered everywhere. Lin Che only felt that everything in front of her had turned into a dreamy world. In the darkness, the light enveloped her entire body in an instant. Lin Che blinked his eyes and raised his head. Looking at this novel sight, he felt as if the world around him had been turned upside down in an instant. Chapter 675. What exactly was this? She covered her mouth. Wow, this looks like the Milky Way. At this moment, the warm body next to her had unknowingly moved closer to her. She didn't even react until he touched her body. It wasn't until she sensed a pair of gentle eyes looking at her from the side that she slowly turned her head around. She saw the man in front of her. His eyes were like the depths of the starry sky, and there was a smile in them. It was a gentle warmth that flowed from them. Unknowingly, his hand had already rested on her shoulder. He looked at Lin Che. His eyes were narrowed, as if he was tipsy and sexy. He gazed at Lin Che and said to her, I told you that you would regret it. The words that came out of his thin lips were ridiculously sexy. His lips curled up slightly as he looked at her. Against the countless stars in the background, he said to her, although it's very detestable, since you know that you're in the wrong, you'll take the initiative to chase after me. Then, I'll give you a reward. What? She looked up at him. She didn't know when, but a blue velvet box had appeared in his hand. She paused. When she was stunned, her eyes were already fixed on the box. He opened the box with his slender hands. Inside, there was a diamond that was even more dazzling than the stars, sparkling under the starry sky. He picked up the diamond bit by bit and looked at her. Lin Che, I know that you've been under a lot of pressure recently. I know that you're throwing a tantrum at me. I know that it's my fault for making you bear the pressure with me. Lin Che's throat moved as a wave of sourness slowly spread through his body. Yes, she had been under a lot of pressure, but she had never said it. Actually, she wasn't afraid of pressure. She had been trained since young, so her resistance to pressure was very high. But what she was afraid of was that there would be too many things. One day, she and Gu Jingza would really not be able to continue their relationship. Gu Jingza said, but even so, even if you bear the pressure with me, be suspected, be cursed, I still don't want to let you go. I don't want to give you freedom at all and let you relax. On the contrary, I hope that we can get married like this. Lin Che stood there like an idiot, watching Gu Jingza pick up the ring. He looked into her face and said, let's have an early wedding. Lin Che raised his head. For a moment, he felt his eyes burning and his lips trembling. Are you proposing? Gu Jingza said no. Seeing that Lin Che didn't move, Gu Jingza took her hand and was about to put the ring on it. As he did so, he said, I'm kidnapping the bride. What is it? Lin Che watched as the ring entered her ring finger. Although the ring was very light, she still felt as if there was a heavy object on her hand. Gu Jingza said, because I won't allow you to not wear it, and I won't allow you to refuse. All right, this was really a wedding kidnapping. However, it was really a romantic wedding robbery. Lin Che raised his hand and looked at the shining golden ring. Gu Jingza smiled and lowered his head to hold her hand. Together with the ring, he held it tightly in his palm. Then, he lowered his head and kissed her lips. He really knew how to omit the middle steps. Before she could say that she was willing, before she could raise her head and stand on her tiptoes to allow him to kiss her, he had already taken the initiative to kiss her. He pressed his lips against hers and forcefully pried open her lips. Hey. Shouldn't a proposal be a light kiss? Why was this kiss getting deeper and deeper, and it didn't seem to be ending? Lin Che only realized that something was wrong when she heard a strange chirping sound behind her. She quickly pushed Gu Jingza away. She looked up and saw Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen watching them from behind. Gu Jingyan looked at the sky full of fireflies, then at the man and woman standing in the middle. She smiled and said, "Second brother, you're really scary when you're romantic." Liu Beichen crossed his arms and said, "It's a pity that it's too old-fashioned." Gu Jingyan said, "What do you know? Girls like old-fashioned things too." "Ha, are you trying to say that you also want a proposal like this? It's a pity that you can't have it in this lifetime because you're already married to me." "Married? Can we still do it next time?" "What Gu Jingyan are you talking about?" Liu Beichen's expression changed. Lin Che looked at the two of them speechlessly. Suddenly, she felt that something was wrong. She widened her eyes and pointed at them. "Hey, did you two plan this with Gu Jingza?" Liu Beichen laughed and said, "About that," Gu Jingyan said. "Of course, you know too little about Liu Beichen. He can be settled with 100 million yuan deposit. What big brother will take care of you? It's all a lie." Liu Beichen glared at Gu Jingyan and said to Lin Che, "Little sister, I just want to help you. Really, I've always been on your side. The point is, Gu Jingza wants to propose to you. He said he wants to hold a wedding with you, so I have to help him. I'm doing this for your sake. You're just having a fight. You don't really want a divorce, do you?" "Fine, he's not reliable at all." Gu Jingza held Lin Che in his arms and said with his head lowered, "So, next time, you can't trust any man except me." Liu Beichen said, "You can't trust him either. Look at your acting just now. You acted as if you were really angry. You were acting like a child. I was so scared that I thought you were really angry. In the end, you were just trying to trick Lin Che. All's fair in war." Gu Jingza raised his eyebrows indifferently. Gu Jingyan said, "All right, since it's over, can you bring some of these fireflies back for me?" "Oh right, there are so many fireflies." Lin Che looked at the fireflies and said, "Wow, where did you get so many fireflies?" Gu Jingza said, "I caught them. Let's go and have some barbecue." "Oh okay." Liu Beichen shook his head and said to Gu Jingyan, "Look, I'm helping Lin Che. She survived the day. If I didn't help her, she wouldn't be a match for Gu Jingza." Gu Jingyan said, "What? You caught the fireflies? There are so many of them. There must be at least a few thousand. How could you catch them? You must have spent a lot of money to buy them and ship them here. And they were shipped here from the south on the same day. Do you really think it's romantic? It's a waste of money." That night, as expected, the news was spread again. Someone said in the WeChat group, "Gu Jingza spent a lot of money to buy a lot of fireflies. I heard that he used them to create a romantic scene for Lin Che." Wow, fireflies. It sounds so romantic. Gu Jingza is so nice. Chapter 676. You don't have to think about being rich. You can be romantic if you want. It's up to you if you want to be romantic. I really want a boyfriend like Gu Jingza. Hey, you're so greedy. If it were me, I wouldn't need Gu Jingza to be so romantic. As long as it's Gu Jingza, I think it's worth it even if he's my boyfriend. No matter what he did wrong, I can forgive him just by looking at his face. These people. Everyone mocked and joked with each other before dispersing. Gu Jingza stayed at the Liu family's house that night. At night, Gu Jingza snuck into Lin Che's room. Lin Che looked at Gu Jingza gloomily. You. Why did you come here in the middle of the night?" She didn't dare to turn on the lights and looked at the man at the door gloomily. They had agreed that since they were already staying in 2 rooms, they shouldn't stay in the same room. Otherwise, the servants who had nothing better to do would make guesses and talk nonsense. But Gu Jingza actually knocked on the door in the middle of the night. Gu Jingza pressed her chin against the wall and kissed her on the lips. It's okay, no one noticed. He stretched out his leg and closed the door. He pressed her against the wall. At the hospital, Mo Huiling saw that more than 10 people had sent her messages and called her. Everyone said that Gu Jingza had proposed to Lin Che and they were going to hold their wedding soon. Mo Huiling sat there and looked at it repeatedly. She didn't believe it. She didn't believe it. But one person said that maybe it was just a rumor. Everyone was saying. Mo Huiling sat there and cried out. She thought angrily, Lin Che, you're too shameless. Who are you going to hold a wedding for now? You've already been married for so long and you're only holding a wedding now. Who are you going to hold a wedding for? Mo Huiling picked up the phone, narrowed her eyes, and said in a low voice, Dad, now do me a favor. The next day, Bai called Lin Che and asked where she was. She went to the Liu family's house to ask her to go to the company together. Because Yu Minmin was still in City S, it was better for Lin Che to take care of the company. It was just that she had to work with Yu Minmin. She was in charge of the performance, and Yu Minmin was in charge of the management, so she couldn't understand some of the forms at all. Asking Bai found it even more difficult to look at. Bai could only say, it seems that I need to learn how to make these. Lin Che said, okay, if you're interested, you can learn. There are technicians in the company who can help you. Bai said, it's not that I'm interested, I just feel frustrated that I can't help with anything. Lin Che looked at the data and forms. He had no choice but to ask the big CEO for advice. So she immediately called Gu Jingza and said, Gu Jingza, I can't understand this data. What should I do? What data? Some from the company. Gu Jingza thought for a while and said, give it to me. I'll take a look at it. Did you go there? What else? You want me to go to your company and help you look at it? That was true. It wasn't good for her to ask someone for help. She quickly agreed and rushed to Gu Jingza's place with the documents. Meanwhile, Bai stayed here to learn something else for the time being. Bai walked around the company in boredom. Everyone was very polite to this young lady and didn't care what she was doing here. As Bai walked, she heard someone talking. It turned out that she had walked to the practice room. When she entered the door, she saw a boy standing there talking. He was a handsome boy who looked very sunny. He was only a few years older than her and looked very young. She stood there thinking that it was quite fun. After watching for a while, she accidentally stepped on something. With a click, the young man inside saw Bai. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. Bai quickly said. The person inside was Shui Yang. He looked at Bai and said, oh, it's you. He put away his script. Bai walked in. You know me? Yeah, who in the company doesn't know you? Bai. You're the young lady who came back from Los Angeles with Sister Che. Bai walked over and saw that he was still packing his things. She couldn't help but say, really? They all know. Hey, what were you doing just now? I was practicing my positioning. Shui Yang said. I'm filming a TV series. Oh, so you're an actor. No wonder you look. Not bad. That's right. To Bai, what kind of man hadn't she seen before? In Hollywood, there were many handsome guys from all over the world. Therefore, the Shui Yang in front of her was not bad. He wasn't the top-notch kind of handsome, but he gave people a very pure and beautiful feeling. It was probably because he was still young and inexperienced that people felt that he was clean. Hearing her praise, he turned to look at her. She tilted her head and smiled. What are you playing? Shui Yang said, this time, I got a second male lead. There are more scenes. It's my first time playing such a role, so I need to practice. Second male lead. Is it a role that's not easy to get? Yeah, it was a role that Sister Yu finally got from someone. After the audition, she succeeded, so she acted. It sounds like it's really not easy to be an actor. Not really. If it's you, you should be able to do it if you want to, he said as he pulled up his backpack and carried it. Seeing that he was about to leave, Bai chased after him and asked, what do you mean? What do you mean I can do it if I want to? It said that your family is very rich. As long as you want to, your father will invest money for you to act. Moreover, your image is not bad, so it's easy for you to become popular. Hey, she said. Do you think I look like a rich missy? I live like a princess and can get whatever I want at any time? Such a question made Shui-yong think of another person. Annie. Lu Yunshi. As Eric's favorite daughter, she lived like a princess, but she couldn't do whatever she wanted. He paused and turned back to look at her. After hesitating for a moment, he said, "Do you live in Los Angeles?" "Not really. My father owns many properties in America. I can basically live wherever I want, but I really don't know where I live." She did have a place to live, but this also meant that she didn't know if she had a real home. Shui-yong said, "Oh, then do you know Eric's family?" "Ah, of course I do." "Do you know their daughter, the one named Annie?" I think I've seen her before." "Why do you know her?" Shui-yong nodded, took a breath, and smiled. "I guess I've seen her before." Although Abai was very curious, seeing that Shui-yong didn't want to say too much, she could only continue to follow him out. Chapter 677. Shui-yong thought of Lu Yunshi and then looked at Abai. Whether it was Abai or Lu Yunshi, they were both very far away from his life, but for some reason, he actually saw them. Thinking about it, it was quite wonderful. However, from Lu Yunshi, Shui-yong had already understood that he and they were definitely not people of the same world. The difference was too great. Therefore, other people might feel a little afraid of Abai, but only Shui-yong felt that there was no need to be afraid. Anyway, there were too many people who complimented her, and she didn't care about it. He was also tired of complimenting her, so he might as well not do anything. Abai continued to follow him outside. "Hey, what are you going to do now?" "Find a place to practice." "Why? Do I affect you here?" Abai asked. Shui-yong looked at her. "What do you think?" Okay. "Hey, you can't say that. When you were acting, so many people were watching. I've seen the filming. Those filming, the surrounding people could stand in a room, but you still had to continue acting. How can you stop acting because of me, right? I'm just one person." Shui-yong frowned. Thinking about it, it could only be said that Abai's presence was too strong, so he subconsciously didn't want to be seen by her. Abai blinked. "I'm too bored. I'll act with you. Which part do you want to act?" "I'll accompany you?" Shui-yong looked helpless. Abai continued to blink her eyes and persuade him. "Look, if I act with you here, you can still act. That proves that you're a good actor, don't you think?" Although this was not without reason, but, let's start. This is the script, right? Let me take a look." Abai had already taken out the script and started reading it. Shui-yong was helpless. He could only hold his breath and watch her finish. Lin Che arrived at Gu Jing's company. Before she entered the door, she saw that there were people outside. She quickly covered her face. When she saw someone looking at her, she avoided them and waited at the side. There were people coming and going at the door. She was worried that someone would recognize her. Fortunately, Qin Hao quickly came out to pick her up. Seeing Lin Che hiding there, he quickly walked over. "Madam, you're here. Sir is upstairs." "Oh, that's great. You're here. Let's go." The two of them entered the company from the back. When they arrived at Gu Jing's office, the people outside didn't seem surprised at all. They just looked at Lin Che curiously. In the office, Gu Jingza was looking at Lin Che with a busy face. He cupped his hands and said, "Come on, what don't you understand?" Lin Che took out some documents from his bag. "This is it. Take a look. It's just some data. I don't understand it at all. I've already returned the mathematics to the teacher." Gu Jingza took it over. He glanced at it and said helplessly, "This has nothing to do with mathematics. You just have to replace it with a table and the results will come out. The numbers will be clear at a glance. It's written on it. What's the balance for this month? How many people need to pay their salaries? How many places need money? But there are some problems with your table. You probably didn't use the right formula when you calculated it. The design of the table isn't simple enough. With your IQ, you really can't understand it. You're so annoying. I don't understand a single thing you're talking about. How can we learn these things in our drama school? We only learn English in cultural classes and mathematics in university. This is called specialization. These things are a form of pollution to our arts. Of course we won't learn them. All right, go to the side. Gu Jingzi shook his head helplessly. He was helpless against this little woman who only knew how to find excuses. He picked up the phone on the desk and made an internal call. He asked a secretary to come in. Take this form to the finance department and get someone to make a new one. Ah. Yes, President Gu. The secretary was about to take it out. Lin Che hurriedly said, can I make a new one? Of course. But this is internal information. Don't worry and let my people do it, okay? Gu Jingzi raised his eyebrows and looked at Lin Che. Lin Che thought, what's there to worry about? There's really nothing to worry about. For such a big company like the Gu Corporation, a small form like this is nothing. There's no need. If you take over my company, I'll be under your banner. It'll be so cool if people hear about it. Gu Jingzi smiled. He raised his head and said to the secretary, go. The secretary looked at Gu Jingzi's enchanting smile and was stunned. That shy look really made people wonder if this person was really Gu Jingzi. After she went out, she quickly looked at the form and realized that it was just an ordinary financial form. Qin Hao came over. She said to Qin Hao speechlessly, our President Gu is really. He's already started to help such a small company with forms. I feel like our President Gu's net worth has suddenly fallen to the bottom. Qin Hao looked at it and shook his head with his hands behind his back. President Gu doesn't have any net worth here. Then what should we do with this form? Who's going to do it in the finance department? Of course it'll be done by Deputy Minister Chen. Let someone who calculates hundreds of millions of dollars every day do this. Stop talking nonsense. Do you want a promotion and a raise? Even if you don't want to do it, I want to do it. Isn't it because President Gu doesn't like my crappy work? You're really insensible and have no judgment at all. Qin Hao glared at her. The secretary could only quickly say, okay, I understand. I'll get someone to do it now. Qin Hao nodded in satisfaction. He looked inside and thought to himself, it seems like President Gu doesn't have much time for the meeting today. It's about to start and Madam is still inside. I should inform everyone and wait for the news first. And inside, Lin Che looked at Gu Jingzi speechlessly. You're asking someone to do it, then you. Didn't he say he would help her look at it? Gu Jingzi smiled with his eyes curved. If I ask someone to do it, then we can save time. Lin Che was suddenly pressed down. Lin Che was completely shocked. Damn it, she didn't come looking for him for this. Lin Che felt that he was at a disadvantage. He only asked Gu Jingzi to look at the documents, but in the end, she even wanted to repay him with her body. Was a form worth so much? Was she selling herself? She took the form back and looked at it. She felt that it was much easier to do, so she quickly asked someone to do it. The people in the company looked at the new form and prostrated themselves before Lin Che. They said to her, this looks so advanced. Did you find a professional to do it, Sister Che? I think so. Lin Che said, his back aching. How could he not be professional if he had sold himself? The people in the company said, Sister Che is really professional. You found such a professional to look at a form. She wanted to, but she didn't want to. Chapter 678. At night, he sent Lin Che off. Gu Jingzi soon received a call from Mu Wanqing. Mu Wanqing said, why did I hear that you're going to marry Lin Che? Mother, I told you this at home, Gu Jingzi said calmly. Mu Wanqing said, I know, but your grandfather. It's fine if grandfather doesn't like it. I've already found someone to host the wedding. Jingzi, don't be rash. I know you like Lin Che, and I like Lin Che a lot too. However, don't go against your grandfather because of your aunt's instigation. If you really go against him, your aunt will be happy. If aunt really thinks that she can sow discord between me and the family because of a wedding, then she's gravely mistaken. I'm the future head of the Gu family. If she thinks that this position can be changed, it's wishful thinking. Could it be that grandfather won't give the Gu family to me, but to her? Aunt will instigate and grandfather will be angry, but in the end, I will still be the one who can take this position. When the time comes, aunt will know that she should regret going against me today. Jingzi, Go and talk to your grandfather. He will agree. No need, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, mother. You. All right, I can't care so much about you. Your father is traveling everywhere and doesn't care about you. I'm a woman, so I'm in charge of everything in the family. Actually, I can't do so many things. You're all grown up, so I shouldn't care about you. I'm worried that I'll make a fool of myself and be used by outsiders in the end. But you're right, you've always been very assertive and capable, but you're my son after all. No child will grow up with a mother here, so I'll definitely be worried about you. Gu Jingzi said, Mother. All right, I promise you before we get married, I'll definitely settle Mo Huiling's matter perfectly. Grandfather won't make things difficult for you anymore, right? Can you? Mu Wanqing was very doubtful. Gu Jingzi smiled. Whether or not it can be done depends on the person. All right, mother believes you. Mu Wanqing then hung up. Gu Jingzi took a deep breath, stood up, and walked outside. He looked downstairs and rubbed the space between his brows. However, at this moment, Qin Hao suddenly came in and said to Gu Jingzi, Sir, there's a rumor going around. It's about Madam. Gu Jingzi turned around. What is it? Qin Hao said, You'll understand when you see it. At this time, Lin Che had also seen it at home. Mo Huiling went around telling everyone that she was currently hospitalized and that her child was unstable because of Lin Che. As a pregnant woman, she was chased out of a restaurant by Lin Che and was pushed to the ground, causing her stomach to ache. However, Lin Che didn't even look at her as he left. And now, Gu Jingzi was so ungrateful that he decided to hold a wedding ceremony with Lin Che regardless of the safety of his child. It was true that one could only see the new person smiling, but not the old person crying. Now that she was pregnant outside, she simply did not know what to do. She said it very sadly, saying that the child would be born without a father. It was too scary. He said that the child was innocent, but Gu Jingzi was too cruel. He even said that when he and Lin Che were holding a wedding ceremony, when they thought about how her child would be alone, didn't they feel uncomfortable seeing their happy family? The people outside were all saying that Gu Jingzi was indeed a little too cruel. But was this also the same as Gu Jingzi's previous comments? It was just that Gu Jingzi had always kept a low profile. It was rumored that he was ruthless in the business world, but today, he was also like this in life. Lin Che saw the discussion in the group. In the end, they said that they couldn't tell that Gu Jingzi was so cruel. Her heart clenched. Why did they say that about Gu Jingzi just because of Mo Huiling's words? Gu Jingzi was so upright, so good, so... These people trusted Mo Huiling too much. Just then, Gu Jingzi had already returned. Lin Che was still playing with her phone. When she saw Gu Jingzi come in, she quickly walked over and said, You, Gu Jingzi said, I've already chosen a few wedding venues. Do you want to come and take a look? Lin Che was a little confused. She hesitated for a moment, lowered her head, and held the phone in her hand. Is it really okay for you to hold a wedding now? I think it's better to wait. Actually, it doesn't matter to me whether we do it or not. Gu Jingzi looked at Lin Che deeply. He walked over and pulled Lin Che up. Silly, did you hear something from someone else? Lin Che looked up. Actually, I really think that the wedding isn't important. Actually, it doesn't matter whether we get married or not. If two people can live together until old age, a marriage certificate is just a formality, especially a wedding. I've already taken care of it. You don't have to worry about it. Taken care of it? How are you going to take care of it? Lin Che looked up in surprise. Gu Jingzi asked her to sit down and said slowly, I've already asked someone to think of a way to do a DNA test on Mo Huiling. How? Take the umbilical cord of the child in her body for a DNA test. That way, we can know who the child belongs to earlier. As long as the results of the test are announced, no one will say anything anymore. Lin Che said, but if she doesn't want to do the test, can you do it? She won't be willing, so I'll get someone to do it quietly. How exactly are you going to do it? Lin Che said. Gu Jingzi looked down at her. You don't need to know about the business methods. He didn't want Lin Che to know about these methods. He was willing to solve the problem for her, but he didn't want her to bear the psychological burden. He said, so, you can choose where you want to hold the wedding. You can tell me where you like it. Lin Che looked down at the places he had chosen. They were all foreign places. It felt so troublesome to hold a wedding abroad. Lin Che looked at the prices carefully and exclaimed in her heart. Gu Jing's phone rang. He looked at Lin Che and went out to pick up the call. Qin Hao said, I've already contacted the gynecologist and asked him to secretly knock Miss Mo out during the prenatal checkup. Then, we'll extract the DNA for the test. But if Miss Mo wakes up, she'll definitely find out. Then, it's okay. Even if she finds out, she'll just make a scene. After knocking Mo wheeling out and taking the DNA, when she wakes up, there will be traces of the DNA. She'll definitely make a scene. But the test results should be out as soon as possible. She won't make a scene for long. Chapter 679. However, it would be a little dangerous during the operation. If the DNA was extracted in advance, the child might be in danger. If Mo Wheeling was drugged, the child might be in danger too. Therefore, Qin Hao was worried that if the child was in danger, Gu Jingze would be cursed. Lin Che looked at the wedding locations in the room. France, the Great Barrier Reef, Swan Lake, Manhattan. Every place looked good. Seeing Gu Jingze, Lin Che said, Well, we're going to hold a wedding abroad. Are we going to let everyone attend? No, there aren't many people who can attend our wedding. Although everyone is going abroad, it might not be a lot of people. Hearing that, Lin Che nodded in understanding. He thought that it was true. Not everyone could attend Gu Jing's wedding. How about 20 or 30 of them? About 100 or so people. Okay, she was wrong. She thought that was what he meant when he said there weren't many people going. 100 people. How are we going to get there? Go by ourselves? Even if we ask them to go by themselves, they will be willing. But since we're holding a wedding, it's not good to let them go by themselves. When the time comes, we'll send all the planes from the Gu family, so that all the guests can attend in time. It still sounds troublesome. Then should I choose a place that's closer? Lin Che looked at the choices on the screen and asked, Manhattan looks easy to get to. How much do you think it will cost? Well, probably less than 300 million. No, 300 million. Lin Che felt that he couldn't tell how he felt about $300, but it was already in the hundreds of millions. Then, what about the Great Barrier Reef? That should be much cheaper because the hotel can be directly chosen from the Gu family's resort. It should be about 200 million. Then France. It must be expensive. The hotel and the local church must match the gowns. So, it should be about 500 million. Lin Che's heart skipped a beat when he heard that. He suddenly hugged Gu Jing's arm and said sincerely, Why don't you give me the money? I'll find a wedding for you. Let's go to a village and have a special wedding. What do you think? Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che and said, Can you be more ambitious? I, Gu Jingze, only have one wife in my life. If I waste it, I'll just waste it this time. If you don't cherish it this time, you won't have a second chance in your life. Lin Che chuckled. He was still smiling obsequiously when he suddenly remembered what he meant by only once in a lifetime. She looked at him and blushed. She looked at Gu Jing's misty and mysterious eyes. At this moment, there was a hint of arrogance and gentleness in them, making her feel so sweet. Gu Jingze was indeed Gu Jingze. Even his words of love were so charming. Perhaps for others, it was quite ordinary, but with his face, it was very easy to make people feel very touched. It was too sweet. Gu Jingze was too good at sweet-talking. And he was getting better at it. The more he said it, the more natural it became. Lin Che argued for a long time, but Gu Jingze went back to work, making it difficult for Lin Che to choose. Lin Che looked at it again and again, marveling at the price. She thought of it and quickly sent Shen Yuran a WeChat message, saying, I've finally managed to get a wedding that costs more than 100 million yuan. Do you know how much Gu Jing's weddings cost? The cheapest one costs 200 million. Shen Yuran was also very surprised. She immediately replied, No way. It's so expensive. Has the great CEO Gu decided to use gold to pave the red carpet? Lin Che said, It's a wedding. It can be as expensive as you want. Mine isn't that special. Didn't I hear that some celebrity's wedding also cost more than 100 million yuan? Shan Yuran immediately said, That was the result of a lot of sponsors. Yours didn't have any sponsors. Gu Jingze paid for it himself. Okay, that was true. Lin Che looked at the wedding list and felt like she was dreaming. It was such a good wedding. Wouldn't it be like a princess getting married? Lin Che remembered that when she married Gu Jingze, she didn't even look forward to the wedding. But now, the next day, Mo Huiling watched as she tarnished Gu Jingze's reputation. She saw that everyone was discussing how Lin Che was Gu Jingze's femme fatale. She felt that Gu Jingze would definitely lose a lot of things because of Lin Che. She harumphed and thought that it was natural. Lin Che had nothing. She was just a poor woman. She wouldn't bring any benefits to Gu Jingze if she followed him. Even so, she still had the cheek to stay by Gu Jingze's side. Wasn't that very shameless? In the afternoon, the doctor arranged for Mo Huiling to attend a prenatal checkup. Mo Huiling was still staying in the hospital, so the doctor directly pushed her out of the ward in the afternoon. At this moment, Papa Mo came over. He looked at Mo Huiling and said directly, "Huiling, I don't think there's anything you can do now. Look, even if you stay in the hospital and people are scolding Gu Jingze for days, it won't affect Gu Jingze and Lin Che at all. Everyone is afraid of Gu Jingze. Even if they talk about him behind his back, it's just a discussion. They definitely won't dare to challenge Gu Jingze." Mo Huiling said, "How can there be no effect? The Gu family will see so many people scolding Lin Che. They will definitely know that Lin Che isn't good, so they won't let Gu Jingze marry Lin Che so easily." Papa Mo said directly, "Look at this. Everyone is saying that Gu Jingze has already started planning for the wedding. He's bidding. He's going to invest an estimated 300 million yuan for the wedding. Those who want to get in are fighting tooth and nail." What? Mo Huiling took the phone and looked at it. It was the details of the wedding. She looked at the wedding and was furious. Gu Jingze had actually arranged such an expensive wedding for Lin Che. Was he crazy? Looking at the extravagant wedding gift, any woman who could have such an extravagant wedding would feel that she had no regrets in her life. But why was it Lin Che? She harumphed in jealousy. She threw the phone to Papa Mo and said, "Humph, it has to be done first. I won't let the wedding be a success." The doctor pushed her into the ward. The ultrasound showed the size of the child. The doctor smiled and said, "The child is still healthy, Mississippi." Mo Huiling raised her head and asked expectantly, "Doctor, is the child a boy?" He's still too young." "I can't tell," Mo Huiling immediately said angrily. "What do you mean I can't tell? You just want money. Let me tell you, as long as the child is a boy, he will be the heir of the Gu family. No amount of money will be a problem." The doctor said helplessly, "Miss, you've misunderstood. What I said is true. Don't be agitated." "You can't tell now, but when he's a little older, I'll show you. You should drink something first and rest here. Don't be too agitated. It's not good for the child." Chapter 680. After a while, Mo Huiling slowly fell asleep as she lay there. The people in the back slowly walked out. "It's done, right? Yes, you can draw it now. All right, go ahead and do it. I'm sure you'll be satisfied with the remuneration that Sir will give you." Yes. How could I not know? An hour later, a document was sent out of the hospital. Mo Huiling gradually woke up. She lay there and looked at it. Suddenly, she felt that something was wrong. Lowering her head to look at her stomach, she let out a cry of pain. Then she screamed, Doctor, what's wrong? What's wrong with my stomach?" The doctor quickly came in and looked at Mo Huiling. "Miss Mo, don't be agitated. It's not good for the child to be agitated now. You'd better be careful." Mo Huiling looked at the doctor and recalled everything that had happened. She immediately felt that something was wrong. She grabbed the doctor's collar, shook the doctor's clothes, and asked, "What happened? Hurry up and tell me, or I'll go to another hospital for a checkup. If there's any other problem, you're dead meat." This, Miss Mo, actually, it's nothing." Seeing the doctor like this, Mo Huiling's uneasiness exploded in an instant. She lowered her head and thought for a moment. Then, she had a bad feeling. You. She suddenly realized something and screamed. Did you take something out of my body? Yes, don't think that I don't know. I know what it is. You're taking out my DNA. Which of you wants to do a paternity test? She looked up and said in surprise, Oh, it's Gu Jingze, isn't it? It must be him, isn't it? Because the doctor had already said that it would definitely be discovered. However, Gu Jingze had also said that even if it was discovered, it didn't matter. Because once they got the DNA sample, it wouldn't matter what Mo Huiling did. The doctor pushed Mo Huiling away and said, Since Miss Mo already knows, then don't make things difficult for me. Even if you didn't give me anything and asked me to do it, I wouldn't dare to refuse, right? Let go of me. If you continue to be agitated, the child will be gone. That would be worse. Miss Mo, please calm down. You need to rest now. Mo Huiling was very angry, but she couldn't do anything to the doctor. Not only the doctor, but she also couldn't do anything to Gu Jingze. But there was one thing. She clenched her fists and thought that Gu Jingze did this because he still suspected that there was something wrong with her child. If he tested it and found out that the child was his, would there be a chance to turn things around? However, she was still angry. Gu Jingze knew that it was bad for her health and the child's health, but he still did it. Wasn't he afraid that the child would be aborted? He still felt that it was better to abort the child. Mo Huiling thought angrily, Fine, since Gu Jingze gave me such a big gift, I should also give Lin Che a similar big gift. She couldn't bear to touch Gu Jingze. To be more accurate, she didn't dare to touch him. She didn't have the ability to either. However, there were still many places where she could touch Lin Che. Although Mo Huiling didn't want to admit it, Lin Che seemed to be Gu Jingze's weakness. If she wasn't well, Gu Jingze wouldn't be well. Mo Huiling snorted. Didn't you want to get married? Let's see how you get married. Humph. Mo Huiling picked up the phone and quickly called Li Mingyu. Gu Jingze is too much. How dare he draw the umbilical cord blood of my fetus to do a test? Isn't he worried that my fetus will have any problems? I want revenge. What? He took your umbilical cord blood? Li Mingyu was obviously angry. He thought that it was his child. If Gu Jingze killed his child, Li Mingyu wouldn't let him off. How dare he treat his child like this? He really deserved to be taught a lesson. Li Mingyu, who had long been unhappy with Gu Jingze, naturally wanted to cause trouble for him. Li Mingyu, I remember you told me some things about Lin Che's family last time. It's about her father being the mayor of City B. When Lin Che was still a little selective at home, she didn't expect Lin Yukai to suddenly call Lin Che. Lin Che, who hadn't had any contact with her family for a long time, felt a little strange when she saw her father's phone call. Every time Lin Yukai came to look for her, it was never a good thing. She didn't know what had happened this time. Lin Che thought for a moment. She was curious about what happened this time. Besides, if something really happened, since he had called her, even if she didn't pick up, he would definitely have other ways to let her know. Why did he have to go through so much trouble? Lin Che picked up the phone. Lin Yukai immediately shouted anxiously. Lin Che, Xiaoche, my daughter, you have to save me this time. Save your father. Lin Che knew it. She sat there and sighed. What's wrong? What happened? The higher-ups suddenly checked my assets. My assets in the Swiss bank were exposed. If they really investigate, I might lose my job. I know you're successful now. You have Gu Jingze behind you and the whole Gu family to support you. These things can be solved with just a word from you. You have to help me. Lin Che wanted to laugh when she heard Lin Yotsai's anxious voice. This time he was really anxious. That was why he was so submissive. He sounded like he was about to cry. Dad, do you think that I've forgotten what you did to me and my mother? Lin Yukai hurriedly said. Daughter, I was wrong to do those things, but I was really forced by your auntie. No, it's Auntie Han now. I've already chased her out of the house and divorced her. I'll soon place your mother's memorial tablet in our ancestral hall to clear your mother's name. You don't, Dad. Don't do that. You're tarnishing my mother. With that, Lin Che hung up the phone. She looked up and saw that Gu Jingze had just showered and was walking out of the bathroom. What's going on? Lin Che looked at the phone and said, "No. It's just my dad. He said that he might have been investigated. He deserves it. Corruption is wrong. He has so many savings and properties. Who knows where he got his ill-gotten wealth from? Otherwise, a mayor's salary wouldn't be so high." "He's being investigated?" Gu Jingze narrowed his eyes. "What's wrong? Is there something wrong with him being investigated?" Lin Che felt that Gu Jingze's expression was a little strange. Gu Jingze nodded. "It's not good for your reputation." Chapter 681. Lin Che said, "My reputation." Gu Jingze walked over and said, "If your father hadn't offended anyone recently, he wouldn't have been exposed so suddenly, so I suspect that this matter might be directed at someone else." "Someone else? You mean me?" Lin Che pointed at herself and asked. Gu Jingze nodded. "That's right. At this time, you should be more eye-catching than him and more likely to be framed than your father." Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze and sighed in her heart. As expected of a profiteer. She hadn't thought about it yet, but Gu Jingze had already thought about it so much because of her words. Lin Che said, "But I don't want to help him at all. Whether it's in the past or now, he hasn't fulfilled his duties as a father to me. All he has brought to me and my mother is only hurt. I don't want to care about him at all." Gu Jingze said, "Don't worry about him. I'll ask someone to find out what's going on first." "Okay." Gu Jingze said, "I'll be busy today. Can you go and choose your wedding dress yourself?" "Of course. You go and do your thing. I can go with Bai. Anyway, I'm just going to take a look first," Lin Che said. Gu Jingze hugged her forehead and kissed it. Lin Che and Bai were in the custom-made wedding dress shop together, watching the shop assistant bring the designs of several sets of wedding dresses to them. Lin Che looked at every wedding dress and felt that it was very beautiful. The shop assistant enthusiastically introduced, "Your wedding dress. Mr. Gu has already ordered someone to choose only Italian designers. Mr. Gu has a good eye. The works of Italian designers have won international awards and there are many outstanding ones. You can take a look at these few sets first. These designers are all well-known designers and their designs are also very suitable for your figure, madam." The shop assistant directly selected some designers for her. She only needed to introduce the designer and the design products. There was no need to mention the price and so on. Since it was Gu Jingze's wedding, she could choose whatever she wanted. Lin Che looked at a few sets. Although Bai was still young and didn't understand the beauty of wedding dresses, she was full of praise when she looked at these designs. The two of them looked for a while and selected a few first. They were going to stay and look at them slowly, so they left the shop first. However, Lin Che heard Lin Yotsai's voice again just as he reached the entrance and before he even got into the cart. Lin Che, don't go." Lin Yukai came up from behind. When he saw Lin Che, he ran over excitedly. Lin Che frowned. Her relaxed mood was instantly disrupted. She said to Lin Yukai directly, "Dad, I've said it before. I won't help you with this matter. It's useless even if you chase me here." Hey, Lin Che, listen to me first. Don't be in such a hurry to leave." Lin Yukai immediately knelt down, causing Lin Che to involuntarily take a step back. He looked at the kneeling Lin Yukai in astonishment. "You?" Lin Yukai knelt there and looked at Lin Che. "Little Che, Dad is begging you. Help me. With your current status, isn't this a small matter? Just do it. Just take it that you pity me. You're so powerful now, but I'm being investigated. This makes you lose face, doesn't it?" Lin Che looked at Lin Yukai with a sneer. "You guys find trouble with me in all sorts of ways and now you're asking me to help you. I don't have the magnanimity to completely forget the past. When I was young, I lived in a nanny's room. When I grew up, you wanted me to marry a fool. I got together with Gu Jingze and you wanted me to share Gu Jingze with your daughter. If all these can be forgiven, I really don't know. What is unforgivable? I really regret it, Lin Che." He raised his head and looked at Lin Che with tears and snot flowing down his face. "I was blind. I was wrong. I was blinded by lard. I was blinded by greed. Later on, I saw that you were powerful and I was afraid that you would take revenge on me. That's why I wanted you to help your sister. Now that I've learned my lesson, I shouldn't have treated you like that. For the sake of your father, for the sake of watching you grow up, can you give me a chance to enjoy my old age? I can't spend the rest of my life in prison. He looked at Lin Che and said, "Only you can save me. Little Che, I can't count on anyone else. In our family, there's no one more promising than you. You really need to be famous and have benefits. Also, Gu Jingzi dotes on you so much. Others can't even be envious of you. Please be magnanimous and help me." Lin Che was unmoved as he walked towards the car. Abai followed him and looked at him. She said to the person beside her, "Hurry up and get him out of here. He's too ugly." Abai got into the car and saw that Lin Che was sitting there in silence. She said, "So every father is so bad?" Lin Che said, "How could that be? Your father is very good to you. I really don't like my father, because other than giving me a place to stay, he has never been my father. A father wouldn't want to sell his daughter for benefits, nor would he want to push his daughter into a pit of fire. So no matter what he does, I won't help him. It's just that when I see him, I'm in a bad mood. I always think of a lot of things in the past. Thinking about how I don't have a father, it's a pity that I don't even know what a father's love is." "All right. Then your father is indeed worse than my father." Before Lin Che reached home, he saw a photo suddenly posted on the major websites. In the photo, Lin Che and Lin Yukai were on the road. It could be seen that it was taken from afar, but it was still quite clear. Lin Yukai was kneeling on the ground, Lin Che's face was cold, and the sneer was still clearly hanging on his face. There was an explanation below the news. It said, after the popular star became famous, he became cold-blooded and heartless to his father. He knelt on the ground and begged for mercy with a sneer on his face. It said that Lin Yukai was Lin Che's father. Originally, Lin Yukai, who was the mayor, had a good family. However, now that Lin Yukai had just been investigated, he might be prosecuted for corruption. In the recent photos, it seemed that Lin Yukai was begging for something, and Lin Che obviously didn't treat her biological father with any courtesy as a daughter. Instead, her own father was kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. Mo Huiling looked at the photo and smiled sinisterly. Yes, I want to see if the Gu family dares to marry a ruthless actor like Lin Che, who is hated by everyone. Li Mingyu looked at the sinister Mo Huiling from behind. "Huiling, don't go too far. This kind of thing can't be hidden from Gu Jingzi." Mo Huiling said regardless, "It doesn't matter. What can Gu Jingzi do to me?" Li Mingyu wanted to say something else, but Mo Huiling couldn't be bothered with him anymore. Li Mingyu felt that she had really gone too far. However, it was obvious that Mo Huiling still didn't know that a disaster was about to befall her. She was really overconfident. Chapter 682. Lin Che hadn't expected that such a scene would be recorded by someone. On the internet, the netizens were scolding him with some disapproval. Some people were saying, did Lin Che abandon his family after becoming famous? He made his own father kneel before him. He's too heartless. He's worse than a beast. Many celebrities had family conflicts after becoming famous. They couldn't do without money. There were some examples in the past where the dreams of celebrities became very realistic after being coated with money. This caused a lot of fans to be unhappy. Lin Che looked at these comments and wanted to laugh. Many netizens might not have seen the specific report. Even if they had seen it, they wouldn't know the truth. However, they started scolding him. In short, he couldn't treat his father like that. Yes, in many people's eyes, maternal and paternal love were great. However, some fathers really didn't have love and only cared about benefits. If she insisted on loving such a father, wouldn't she be too saintly? Yu Minmin saw the news and immediately called Lin Che. "Lin Che, are you okay?" This wasn't a small matter. Yu Minmin was worried that Lin Che would be sad. Lin Che said to Yu Minmin, "I'm fine. Don't worry. I've already seen through my father. If he didn't know that there was a photo, he wouldn't have knelt before me. If he didn't know that it was a scheme, He wouldn't have begged me. It was all his scheme. I was just schemed against by my father. Why would I feel sad for a father like that? Yu Minmin comforted him. All right then, I'll go back immediately. We'll deal with it together. Don't worry. Mr. President's matter isn't a small matter. Just take care of yourself. Okay, I know. Gu Jingze will help you deal with it. Nothing will happen, Gu Jingze said. Gu Jingze immediately blocked the source of the news. This news would not be reported anymore. The media that reported this news shut down in the morning and stopped doing business. However, the spread of information on the internet was still very fast. It was naturally impossible to completely block off this information. As it didn't spread that much, the impact was also smaller. However, some people on the internet were still saying that they were waiting for the follow-up, for Lin Che's response. They were also questioning why that media outlet had deleted the news and stopped pursuing the matter. What kind of background did Lin Che have to be so powerful that he could make a media outlet disappear without a trace in an instant? During lunchtime, Lin Che had a hard time eating. Seeing that she was uncomfortable, Gu Jingze held her hand from the table. Let's go to Chen Yuqing later. Ah, what me? No, I'm fine. You don't have to see him. Let's go take a look. Really, I'm fine. I'm just thinking about how to deal with it. Lin Che smiled and touched the back of his hand, saying, I'm just thinking about it. You were right after all. Someone is using my father to deal with me. Yes, I've basically found out who it is. Ah, really? That's right. I'll deal with it in the afternoon. If you have nothing to do, you can rest at home. You found out who did it so quickly. Yes, although we don't have any evidence, we basically know who it is. At this time, Gu Jingze received a call from home. Mu Wanqing said quietly on the phone that Gu Xianda was asking Gu Jingze to go back. Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che and agreed with Mu Wanqing. He let Lin Che eat first, wiped his mouth, went to change his clothes, and prepared to go back home. Not long after Gu Jingze left, Lin Che saw that Lin Yukai actually had the cheek to call her. Lin Che picked up her phone, amused. After thinking for a while, she pressed the record button and said to Lin Yukai, Dad, you framed me. Why are you calling me now? Do you want to see your daughter being cursed? Lin Yukai hurriedly laughed and said, Lin Che, don't say that. Someone is threatening me on purpose. If I don't do it, my evidence will be submitted. Now, you're just sacrificing your reputation to save your father's life. Don't you think that's good? Lin Yukai hurriedly tried to calm her down. On one hand, he was threatened, and on the other hand, he was comforted. The other party was very good at doing things. On the one hand, he said that if he didn't do it, he would completely step down. On the other hand, he said that as long as he did it, he would be given a large sum of money. He looked at the money and thought to himself, even a fool would choose that money. He really didn't expect that the other party was so generous. They were willing to spend so much just to deal with Lin Che. Now Lin Che was so valuable. Lin Che sneered. You really love your daughter. Little Che, you're so powerful now. You can get whatever you want. Even if you don't become a celebrity, you can go back and be a mistress. You'll be a superior person for the rest of your life. Now that you've been scolded, you can just go back and not be a celebrity. Isn't that enough? That's enough. Did you call just to say this? Of course not. Dad is still on your side. I just wanted to tell you to let this matter go. Don't pursue it and don't retaliate. It won't be good for us if it gets bigger and bigger. Why not? Let Dad be an honest mayor until he retires. If you continue to pursue it, it will only snowball and make the matter bigger and bigger. Don't you think so? You're really selfish. However, this conversation has already been recorded. I want to know if the netizens will still think that I shouldn't have made you kneel after hearing what you said, Lin Che said as he saved the recording. You recorded it? Lin Yukai was shocked at first. Then, he softened his voice and said to her, even if you release it, it will only cause more people to talk about it. Listen to me, really don't make a fuss anymore. If it gets bigger, people will still have a bad impression of you, right? You don't have to worry about that. Lin Che harumphed and hung up. Lin Che immediately sent the recording to Yu Minmin and asked him if it could be used. Yu Minmin said, We can make use of this, but it's not good to use it directly. If we really post it, your father is right about one thing. You will still be doubted. If there's too much controversy, it won't be good for your image. Let me think of something. Meanwhile, Gu Jingze was quickly called to the study room by Gu Xianda. Gu Xianda looked at Gu Jingze and slammed the news on the table. Look at it now. Not only did the matter not get worse, it even got worse. You said you could handle it, but now it's obvious that you've become hesitant and weak because of Lin Che. Jingze, you really disappoint me. Chapter 683. Gu Jingze looked at Gu Xianda. He knew that he was hesitating and weak. He looked at Gu Xianda and said, Grandfather, isn't this good? I'm hesitating and weak because normal people are like this. I'm just becoming normal. Isn't that good? Normal? You're the one who's going to inherit the Gu family. You'll never be normal. Your life will never be normal, because you're going to be the head of the family. Yes, I'll be the head of the family. But I also want to be a good husband. A good husband should do what is right for my wife. When she needs me to support her, I'll support her. When she needs help, I'll think about her. Jingze, you're wrong. My wife is just someone you're using. It's right for her to help you indefinitely, not for you to help her all the time. But grandfather. Gu Jingze looked at Gu Xianda and said, In the past, I never thought that I'd become a good man for a woman. But now I think about it. When I was with Lin Che, I never thought that I'd become a normal person for her. But now I think about it. Grandfather, you're the one who made me marry her. You made me have her. Because of this, I've experienced what a normal person does. I've come into contact with a world that I've never come into contact with before. Enough. If I'd known that you'd spoil her so much, I wouldn't have let you marry her. Gu Xianda snorted and said bluntly, You're not allowed to hold your wedding. Gu Jingze clenched his fists and said, What if I say I have to? Then you'll give up the position of the head of the family. Gu Xianda said, Even if Jingming gives up his current position and comes back to be the head of the family, I won't hand the family over to you. Humph. Gu Xianda flicked his sleeves and left. Gu Jingze stood there for a long time without moving. It was Qin Hao who called him at that moment, interrupting his long contemplation. Sir, the DNA test results are out. Good. Send it to my office now. The results of the DNA test were as he had expected. It was still not his. It was 100% not his. Holding the results, he said to Qin Hao, Make 2 copies. Send one to the Mo family and the other to the Gu family. Yes, sir. Qin Hao was looking forward to seeing the Mo family's expression when they saw the results of the test. Previously, they had been dreaming of giving birth to the heir of the Gu family, but now. The Mo family soon received a parcel. The moment Papa Mo received the package, he felt that his hands were a little light. His heart grew heavy. He took it out and looked at it. A DNA paternity test report. Father Mo trembled as he opened the book. At that moment, his expression was radiant. He had originally supported Mo Huiling endlessly, thinking that if he coaxed her to give birth to the Gu family's flesh and blood, then the Mo family would be connected to the powerful Gu family, which would be glorious. This would be the Gu family's first child, and it was absolutely normal for the Gu family to spend a lot of money for their own flesh and blood. In this way, wouldn't the Mo family rise rapidly? But now all of a sudden, Father Mo called Mo Huiling angrily. When Mo Huiling picked up the phone, she was still sleeping. She said in a daze, Dad, I'm sleeping. You're disturbing my rest. Why are you still sleeping? I saw the DNA test. You idiot, the child in your belly is not Gu Jingze's. Mo Huiling suddenly shouted, No? That's impossible. Where did you see the test report? Someone sent it. Didn't you say that Gu Jingze took your DNA? It must be him. Father Mo said angrily. It's actually not Gu Jingze's child. You child, you've made things difficult for me. Is the Mo family going to die in your hands? I told you long ago to give up and not provoke Gu Jingze. Now. All right, I don't believe it. I won't believe it no matter what. The child is Gu Jingze's. Great, Gu Jingze forged a DNA paternity test for Lin Che. It must be you. It's all because of Lin Che. Humph, I won't let Lin Che off. Sigh Huiling. Mo Huiling hung up the phone. Father Mo didn't know what this brat was going to do, but he didn't dare to provoke the Gu family again. If she wanted to court her own death, she'd better do it herself. Sitting on the bed, Mo Huiling had an evil thought. Gu Jingze must be lying to her. However, if he really faked the DNA and insisted that the child wasn't his, no one would believe him with the Gu family's influence. Lin Che. Yes, Lin Che. She must kill Lin Che now. Now that Lin Che was dead, Gu Jingze wouldn't fake it anymore. As long as Lin Che was dead, everything would be over. Although Gu Jingze wanted Lin Che to rest at home, Lin Che wasn't someone who could stay idle. She had told Bai that she was going to the company to have a video call with Yu Minmin to discuss a solution. If Lin Che stayed at home, she would only be more irritated and let her imagination run wild. It would be better to go out for a walk. Lin Che heard her phone ring. She picked it up and saw that it was Bai. She picked up the phone and said, Bai, I'll be there soon. I'm almost in the elevator. Lin Che. However, at this moment, a cold voice that seemed to be filled with great resentment came from behind. Lin Che turned around and saw that it wasn't Mo Huiling's face, but a black pistol. Lin Che subconsciously took a step back and his body shrank. Mo Huiling, Lin Che, go to hell. If you die, Gu Jingze won't do anything for you anymore. He can only accept my child and won't find any excuses. You. Mo Huiling, think carefully. You're holding a gun in your hand. You, where did you get a gun? If you kill people like this, you'll become a murderer. When that time comes, what will happen to you and your child? Heh, murderer? At that time, Gu Jingze won't let his child be motherless. He'll definitely save me. But you are also a murderer, and your child will become a murderer's child. How can you bear to? Lin Che looked at the gun and retreated step by step. The feeling of death was getting closer and closer. Lin Che could feel the strong pressure of the weapon. But, was she going to die just like that? Because of the crazy Mo Huiling? How could she accept it? She gritted her teeth and looked at Mo Huiling. She turned around and saw that the elevator was still flashing. She seemed to have thought of something. She stepped back and said to Mo Huiling, actually, Gu Jingze still has feelings for you. Mo Huiling's eyes moved. Really? You? How do you know? Chapter 684. He is. Lin Che took a step back and jumped into the elevator. Mo Huiling was stunned for a moment. Then, she came to her senses. Anger flashed across her face and she rushed towards Lin Che. She seemed to have forgotten that she still had a gun. When she saw Lin Che pressing the button to close the elevator door, she reached out to hit the button and the elevator door. The elevator opened again after being hit and Mo Huiling jumped into the elevator. Seeing this, Lin Che was quick to react and snatched her handgun. Mo Huiling shouted, "Bitch, you lying bitch. I told you that you're good at lying. You lied to Gu Jingze and now you're trying to lie to me. Let me tell you there's no way." She and Lin Che fought over the gun. The gun brushed past each other a few times, and Lin Che thought that a gunshot would be heard. Her back was drenched in cold sweat, and Lin Che finally grabbed the handle of the gun. Mo Huiling screamed, and Lin Che bit Mo Huiling's hand. Mo Huiling screamed in pain, and the gun fell out of her hand. Lin Che grabbed the gun, and when she saw that the elevator was about to close, she threw the gun out without thinking. The elevator door closed with a whoosh. Time seemed to stop at that moment. Without the gun, Lin Che's heart relaxed a lot. However, the elevator didn't move at all. Lin Che, I will kill you. You. At this moment, the lights in the elevator went out, and the emergency lights turned on. The green light made people feel depressed. Was the elevator broken? Mo Huiling was stunned. Then she became happy. She looked at Lin Che with narrowed eyes and approached him dangerously. Lin Che, see? Even God is not helping you. Lin Che said, you're a pregnant woman. Do you think I'm afraid of you without a gun? You should be thinking about your own life and death, not how to kill me. Only then did Mo Huiling look down at her hands. She suddenly remembered that Lin Che had already snatched the gun and thrown it outside. Mo Huiling gritted her teeth and looked at Lin Che's beautiful face. Strangely, he seemed to be getting prettier. He looked even prettier than the first time she saw him. The more she looked, the angrier she became. She suddenly rushed towards Lin Che. Lin Che shouted, let go of me. Mo Huiling, if you continue to be like this, I won't be polite anymore. You don't want anything to happen to your child, right? What she thought was that the innocent one was still the child. She couldn't use too much force on Mo Huiling. Otherwise, she was worried that something would really happen if she touched the child. Seeing that Mo Huiling was still pushing against him, Lin Che had no choice but to hit her head hard. Ah! Mo Huiling was knocked back a few steps. Although Lin Che also felt pain, he could still endure it. At this moment, the elevator suddenly moved. Mo Huiling was so shocked that she immediately stuck to the elevator wall, looking around and listening to the movements outside. It turned out that there were rescuers outside. Someone was knocking on the door and saying, "Is there someone inside?" "Am I right?" Lin Che hurriedly said, "Yes, someone is locked inside." "Who are you? What's your name? How many people are inside?" "I am Lin Che." Lin Che? Is Lin Che locked inside? Oh my God, what's going on? Quick, call someone to help. Just say that the person locked inside is Lin Che. If we don't get it done quickly, it will cause a big problem. Upon hearing that it was Lin Che, the people outside hurriedly called for help. It seemed that they were very nervous. They knew that Lin Che's company was in this office building and they usually saw Lin Che coming and going, so they weren't surprised that she fell inside. However, when they saw the gun on the ground, they asked curiously, "Why is there a gun outside? Is it fake?" At this moment, Mo Huiling, who was at the back, couldn't hold it in anymore, especially when she heard the worried and scared voice of the people outside when they heard that it was Lin Che. Mo Huiling hurried over and said to the people outside, "Don't touch my things. That's mine." Who are you?" the people outside asked curiously. Mo Huiling shouted, "I am Mo Huiling." "Mo what? Who? Is she from this building too?" The confused voices of the people outside made Mo Huiling even more embarrassed. She said directly, all right, you know Gu Jingza, right? Let me tell you, the child in my stomach is Gu Jingza's flesh and blood. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask. If there's anything wrong with the child in my stomach, can you bear the responsibility?" Gu Jingza? Although the people outside were doubtful, they quickly asked someone to find out if there was such a person. They quickly asked her, "Are you pregnant?" "That's right. I'm carrying the heir of the Gu family in my stomach. He's worth so much more than any celebrity or artist. You bunch of idiots are so blind. Why are you so worried about Lin Che? What you should be worried about is the one in my stomach. Now, if you don't take care of this for me, you'll be punished." The people outside hurriedly said, All right, don't worry. We'll get someone to repair it immediately. Miss Lin Che, are you feeling suffocated inside?" The people outside felt that it was more reliable to ask Lin Che. Although the other person sounded like he was telling the truth, he still sounded a little unreliable. "It's not suffocating, but it's definitely hotter than outside. Miss Lin Che, please wait a moment. We've already informed your company." Hearing this, Mo Huiling became even more anxious. "You've only informed Lin Che's people and not Gu Jingza? Humph, a bunch of snobs. If anything happens to me, don't even think about living anymore. Why are you still trying to suck up to Lin Che? You don't even know who you should be sucking up to." "Miss, please don't be angry. We didn't say that. We've already asked someone to inform your relatives." The people outside came after a while and told the rescuers that what Mo Huiling said was right. They asked the relevant people and they all said that Mo Huiling did have such a person. The rescuers became even more anxious. They went to find someone to save Gu Jingza and tried to think of a way to stay with him. "Miss Mo, can you tell me Mr. Gu's phone number? Mr. Gu is such a powerful person. We definitely can't get close to him." The rescuers thought that if what she said was true, she must have Gu Jingza's phone number. Asking for his phone number would be a way to verify it. Mo Huiling immediately took out her phone. The signal in this shabby place in the elevator was really bad. The screen didn't show any data. Luckily, she could see the number. She directly sent the number. When the people outside saw that it was a special number, they knew that it wasn't an ordinary person's number. Perhaps what she said was really the truth and not a lie. Chapter 685. The people outside hurried to call Gu Jingza. The others stayed behind to continue the rescue. Mo Huiling turned around and looked at Lin Che. It's all your fault. You're to blame. Lin Che looked at Mo Huiling. I can understand that you don't want to lose Gu Jingza, but don't lie to yourself. Gu Jingza is no longer the Gu Jingza of the past. He doesn't love you anymore. Huh, you mean that he doesn't love me anymore? Does he love you? Mo Huiling looked at him like she was going crazy. Well, I didn't say that. But he wants to live with me now. He loves me very much. Even if he doesn't love me that deeply, I know he likes me. Pfft, he won't like you. He can only touch you. That's why he has feelings for you. No, I trust him. I can feel his feelings for me. Even if he doesn't say it out loud, I can feel it. Mo Huiling, a person's heart isn't meant to be, it's meant to be felt. Maybe at the start, we were just getting married, but now we really want to be together. So, I hope you can stop pestering me. How old are you? Even if you give birth to a child, you're still the daughter of the Mo family. You can find any man you want. No! Mo Huiling shouted. You want to find Gu Jingza? No, there's no Gu Jingza. You already have him, so of course you're saying that. But there's only one Gu Jingza. Do you think you'll fall in love with someone else if you leave him? No, you won't. You'll only be crazier and angrier than me. Lin Che was shocked. He thought to himself that she had indeed thought about whether she would fall in love with someone else if Gu Jingza was gone. Yes, she wouldn't. Lin Che looked at Mo Huiling. Maybe I won't fall in love, but at least I can love myself a little more and treat myself a little better. Even if I never fall in love with someone else, I won't humiliate myself and let myself be trapped in the past. Even if I'm alone, I'll look forward and not stay where I am. Mo Huiling sneered. Because you've never lost someone, so you don't understand how I feel. I'm being driven crazy by you guys. I'm being driven crazy by Gu Jingza. Just then, there was a commotion outside. Someone had started to pry open the door. The elevator was shaking from time to time. Mo Huiling was so scared that she leaned against the wall and cursed at the people outside. Do you know how to do things? Can you afford to scare my child? The people outside already knew that Gu Jingza had answered the phone just now. When he heard that Lin Che and Mo Huiling were locked in the elevator together, he simply said, I'll be right there. However, they also felt that their big boss was nervous. It could be seen that what Mo Huiling said was true. They could only deal with Mo Huiling patiently, not wanting her to be the least bit unhappy. Miss Mo, don't worry, this one won't fall. Our elevator has double protection. It's just a normal vibration now. Don't worry, we're doing this to save Miss Mo as soon as possible, right? Mo Huiling's mood improved as she felt the change in their attitudes. Humph. I'm reminding you. You should know the weight of the child in my stomach. If anything goes wrong, you're finished. Yes, we wouldn't dare to do that. Don't worry, we'll get the two of you out immediately. We've also informed Mr. Gu and he said he'll be here soon. Mo Huiling pounded on the elevator door. I don't want to stay with this bitch for another minute. Same to you, Mo Huiling. I don't want to stay with you at all. Mo Huiling sneered at her. I should have shot you just now. Unfortunately there's no ifs. Lin Che leaned against the wall and listened to the commotion outside quietly. After a while, he heard the door move again. Not long after, the door was opened a little. Miss Lin, Miss Mo, come out quickly. Lin Che was delighted and walked over immediately. However, Mo Huiling pushed Lin Che away first. She looked at the people outside and said, Don't you know who should be rescued first? Humph, you're so clumsy. It took you so long to open the door. Move away. Knowing her identity, the people outside didn't dare to do anything to her. Seeing that Mo Huiling had left first, they hurriedly said to Lin Che, Miss Lin, I'm so sorry. I actually let you lock me in the elevator. Please come out quickly. Are you hurt? If your fans know about this, they definitely won't let me off. Lin Che gave a simple thank you and hurriedly left this narrow space. At this moment, the people outside suddenly exclaimed. A crisp voice came from afar. Gu Jingze walked in quickly with his men. The time they were locked up was very short. The two of them were rescued very quickly, so Gu Jingze had just arrived. When Mo Huiling saw Gu Jingze, she immediately rushed forward. However, Gu Jingze directly stepped over Mo Huiling and came to Lin Che's side in an instant. Everyone was still lamenting the fact that they had seen Gu Jingze with their own eyes. It was amazing that the world was fickle and they could still see such a big scene. Then, they were stunned by what happened next. Gu Jingze, who had been carefully serving Mo Huiling, realized that he didn't care about Mo Huiling at all. Instead, he went straight to Lin Che's side. He lowered his head and pulled Lin Che up. He looked at her body seriously and only let out a sigh of relief after confirming that she was fine. It's okay now, right? No, but she... Lin Che looked at Mo Huiling who was beside him. The surrounding people were a little surprised. Why did Mo Huiling keep saying that she was pregnant with Gu Jingze's child? Now, the person Gu Jingze was concerned about was actually Lin Che. However, before they could be surprised, Gu Jingze raised his eyebrows and his men had already started cleaning up the scene. Seeing that everyone had been cleared out, Mo Huiling went up to Gu Jingze and said, Jingze, Gu Jingze felt Mo Huiling's hand wrap around his, so he waved his hand and pushed her away. Mo Huiling was instantly frightened by the expression on Gu Jingze's face. She stared at his face with a little hope in her eyes. He was just angry. He would look like this when he was angry. No, but she had never seen such a scary expression on his face. It was as if the man in front of her was not Gu Jingze, but an evil Azura. Gu Jingze looked at Mo Huiling in disgust. You should have seen the paternity test. Your child has nothing to do with me. Please don't use this as an excuse to pester me, and don't get close to Lin Che again. No, I don't believe you. You're lying to me. You're faking it. Chapter 686. Gu Jingze looked at Mo Huiling and said, Are you going to lie to yourself until the end? You don't even believe the results of the DNA test? From the beginning, I knew for sure that your child wasn't mine. My sperm was stored in a safe place and there was no danger. I was sure that your child wasn't mine, but you didn't believe me. I just want to ask you, where did you get the confidence to think that the child was mine? Now that the DNA test is out, you still don't believe me. What do you believe? Mo Huiling felt pressured by Gu Jingze's intense gaze, and her thoughts became even more chaotic. She looked at Lin Che beside her and was confused for a while. Then she said more fiercely, It's her. It's because of her that you didn't want your child at all costs. Jingze, don't you love me anymore? Are you really going to give up on me just like that? If the child isn't yours, then whose could it be? When I was in the test tube, no one touched me. The child must be yours. Huiling at this moment, she heard a weak sigh coming from behind her. Li Mingyu, who was stopped by the bodyguards at the door, was looking at Mo Huiling. When Mo Huiling saw him, the tears in her eyes stopped flowing. Li Mingyu said, Gu Jingze, let me in. I have something to say. Gu Jingze gestured to the bodyguards and Li Mingyu walked in. He went to Mo Huiling's side and supported her. He looked at Mo Huiling and moved his lips with a complicated expression. Stop fooling around. Come back with me. No, I'm not going back. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me to go back? I want to stay here with the father of my child. Mo Huiling looked at Li Mingyu disdainfully. In front of Gu Jingze, Li Mingyu was nothing. He couldn't compare to Gu Jingze in anything. Even if he treated her well, so what? Even if he was rich, so what? He couldn't compare to Gu Jingze. All right, you want to be with the father of your child, don't you? Then let me tell you. He lifted Mo Huiling's collar. I'm the father of your child. What? 3 pairs of eyes looked at Li Mingyu. Mo Huiling looked at him in a daze. What nonsense are you talking about? I've never slept with you. Are you dreaming? How can you be the father of my child? Huiling, don't you remember? Back then, you asked me to help you find where Gu Jingze stored his sperm, but I couldn't find it no matter how hard I tried. Gu Jingza hid it too well and there was nothing I could do. I've already told you that I don't want you to be disappointed. Plus, during that time, I always thought that you were a good person and we were compatible. I really liked you and wanted you to marry me. So, I used my own sperm to make a test tube for you and lied to you that it was Gu Jingza's. Mo Huilinged. She grabbed Li Mingyu with trembling fingers. You lied to me. You lied to me. That's impossible. Even if you don't want to admit it, it's the truth. Huiling, I thought that you would marry me because you're pregnant with my child. Even if I'm not as good as Gu Jingza in your heart, I'm still a tycoon in country A. I've done so much for you. I can give you a happy life. I thought you would agree to it. But I didn't expect you to look for Lin Che and tell him everything. I had no choice but to leave you alone for now. I wanted to find another opportunity to get you away from Gu Jingza. I also wanted you to give up on Gu Jingza. I wanted you to know that he wouldn't want your child. Then you would come back to me. That's why I delayed it until today. I'm sorry. Huiling. No, get lost. I don't believe it. How can I be pregnant with your child? How is that possible? Mo Huiling screamed in shock. That's enough. Huiling. I can give you more than Gu Jingza can. How am I not as good as Gu Jingza? Li Mingyu grabbed Mo Huiling's hand angrily. Mo Huiling looked at Li Mingyu in a frenzy. How can you be compared to him? You can't be compared to him in anything. He's the one and only God's favored one. No one can compare to him. Who do you think you are to compare yourself to him? That was what Mo Huiling thought in her heart. She didn't care about anything else and said it out loud. Just as she finished speaking, a slap landed on her face. Li Mingyu looked at Mo Huiling with a dark expression. His forehead was twitching because of what she said. You hit me. You're still hitting me. Mo Huiling laughed out loud. The malevolence on her face was even more terrifying. She looked at Li Mingyu and suddenly pushed him away. She let out a maniacal laugh and stumbled out of the room. How could this be? Lin Che murmured. He hadn't expected things to turn out this way. But his arm was held down by Gu Jingza. He looked at Lin Che and said, All right, don't bother about other people's business. I'll take you to the hospital first. There's no need. I'm fine. I've only been in there for a few minutes. Lin Che looked outside. I really didn't expect the child to be Li Mingyu's. Li Mingyu and I don't get along well. It's understandable that he would go against me and laugh at me. The truth of this matter had finally come to light. He brought Lin Che with him and walked out. Seeing that someone was taking photos, he immediately asked someone to delete the photos. At first, the people outside were very curious about what was going on inside. They didn't know what kind of role Lin Che was playing. Such a story between a celebrity and a rich man always made people curious. However, after taking a few photos, they finally managed to capture Gu Jingza's breathtaking appearance. Then, the bodyguards took away their phones and they were forced to delete the photos. After deleting the photos, they saw Gu Jingza and Lin Che quickly leaving the place. That day, Lin Che took the recording and went to look for Lin Yukai. Lin Yukai was called to Gu Jingza's office. Gu Jingza didn't show up and left the place to Lin Che and Lin Yukai. He only sent someone to wait outside. Lin Che knew that the security here was the best and the soundproofing was also the best. Naturally, no one would disturb her conversation with Lin Yukai. It wasn't like her company, after all, where there were too many people. She threw the recording on the table and said, Dad, you can take it and listen to it. If this gets out, you'll probably be scolded badly. But I'm not like you, Dad, who doesn't use his brain. I could have sent the recording out and let people know how you treated your own daughter, but I didn't do that because we shouldn't wash our dirty linen in public. I think it's better for us to solve it ourselves. Lin Yukai looked at the flash drive on the table. He knew that Lin Che didn't want this matter to continue to blow up and leave a stain on her reputation. That was why she wanted to make it a small matter. After all, a stain on a celebrity's reputation would always be brought up and criticized after many years. Lin Che said, Dad, don't think about finding someone to back you up. I believe that you already know about Mo Huiling and Li Mingyu, right? They're busy dealing with their own family matters and can't deal with it yet. Why would they care about you? Lin Yukai said, Ah. Then it's true. Mo Huiling really has schizophrenia? What? Lin Che asked curiously. Chapter 687. Lin Yukai said, I just heard that Mo Huiling was taken away for treatment. She's not in a good state of mind. So many doctors were invited. Lin Yukai observed Lin Che's expression. He had gone to look for Mo Huiling, hoping that she would fulfill her promise and give him the money. He wanted to make sure that they wouldn't interfere with his Swiss bank matters, but he found out that Mo Huiling had gone crazy. It was said that she had schizophrenia and was taken away by Li Mingyu for treatment. Lin Yukai knew that no one would help him this time. Looking at the office, he knew that this was Gu Jing's company, the Gu Corporation building. It was on this street and looked very big. Lin Yukai sighed and said, Little Che, in any case, just tell me what you want me to do. I'll do it. We're father and daughter, so there's no need to be so polite, right? Lin Yukai didn't want to offend Lin Che. After all, she was so powerful now. It was just that he had been threatened and wanted money, so there was nothing he could do if he offended her. Now that Mo Huiling couldn't even protect herself, she couldn't help him. He would definitely come to beg for mercy. Otherwise, if Lin Che really came to deal with him, with Gu Jingza around, he wouldn't be able to survive. He quickly said to Lin Che, It's my fault this time. If I wasn't threatened, I wouldn't have harmed you. I'll definitely follow your lead from now on. I'll do whatever you say. Xiao Che, you're the most promising person in our family now. I'm very proud of you. Moreover, you're Mrs. Gu now and a superstar. You won't bother to deal with a nobody like me, right? It's so tiring to deal with me. If you have the time, you can do some beauty treatments or go on a vacation. It's better than wasting time with me. This time, he was sincerely begging for mercy. He was extremely humble. Lin Che couldn't be bothered to speak to a despicable person like him. It was hard for him to believe that his mother would fall for a man like this. Perhaps her feelings were too hurt in the past, so she hastily found another man to mend the wounds. Otherwise, with a father like this, even if he was her biological father, it would be hard for her to have any feelings for him. No matter how she looked at it, she couldn't believe that his mother, who had once loved Uncle Lu, would fall for someone like her father after leaving Uncle Lu. Lin Che said, Yes, I don't have time to waste with you. It's best that you cooperate. That day, Lin Yukai held a press conference and expressed his condemnation of the person who had secretly taken pictures of him and Lin Che. He would pursue the person's legal responsibility. He said at the press conference, Lin Che and I are father and daughter after all. The matters between us are our family matters. Back then, I let Lin Che's mother down. I didn't take good care of Lin Che's mother that day, causing her to lose her mother at the age of 10, causing Lin Che's mother to pass away at such a young age. All these years, I have always felt very sorry for her, and that's why I knelt down like that. I hope that the spirit in heaven can forgive me. Therefore, Lin Che wasn't cold-blooded that day. Lin Che has always been working hard, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I also know that she has been framed on purpose. They even secretly took pictures of her and posted them online with a premeditated plan to ruin her reputation. To her, this is very scary. My heart aches for my daughter, so I'm prepared to stand up and speak up for her. Furthermore, my daughter was my father's lover in his previous life. When I was young, I would kneel on the ground and let my daughter sit on me. I've never despised it. Now that I'm kneeling in front of my daughter, there's no such serious moral problem as the outside world has made it out to be. I hope that everyone won't distort my original intentions and don't listen to the framing of those people. When they saw Lin Yotsai's direct statement online, They immediately understood what was going on. Many netizens said that Lin Che had lost his mother at the age of 10 and he was really pitiful. Some said that it seemed like someone had really framed him. The person involved had already spoken up and there was no quarrel at all. There were also people who suspected that the two of them had already discussed this in private before they spoke up. There were also people who thought that it was another publicity stunt. It just so happened that the witchcraft notes were going to be broadcasted soon. However, it didn't seem like a publicity stunt. Even if it was a publicity stunt, it wouldn't be so serious. The internet started to make wild guesses. However, this incident finally came to an end. Most people still felt that what Lin Che's father said was right. Someone must have purposely framed Lin Che. The entertainment industry was a messy place to begin with. Stealing roles, framing each other, appearing nice on the surface, but being defamed behind the scenes was a common occurrence. Actually, the netizens were very interested in many conspiracy theories. Slowly, they began to guess who was purposely framing Lin Che. This incident probably wouldn't be mentioned again after a while. At the airport, Li Mingyu instructed the doctor, "Follow Hui Ling closely in a while. You don't have to worry about anything else." "Yes, Mr. Li." Li Mingyu looked at Mo Hui Ling, who was crazily making clothes for the baby. He frowned and sighed. He walked over and held Mo Huiling's hand. "Huiling, we're going home soon. When you get home, I'll find the best doctor to treat you. You'll definitely get better. Jingza, come here. Do you think the clothes I made for our baby look good? When the baby is born, he can wear them. My mom said that I have to be a good wife and take care of the child. I'm very obedient and I'm very good at being Mrs. Gu. I'm better than anyone else." When Li Mingyu heard Gu Jingza's name, he felt his scalp go numb. His expression darkened as he looked at her. However, he looked at her stomach and endured it. No matter what, it was his child inside. He had to ensure that the child was born safely. Li Mingyu pulled Mo Huiling up. "Let's go. Get on the plane." "No, I don't want to get on the plane." Li Mingyu's patience was exhausted. He glared at her fiercely. "Get on the plane." Mo Huiling was frightened by his glare. She quickly covered her head and screamed as she ran out. Li Mingyu then ordered someone to bring her onto the plane. Faced with such a lunatic, he really didn't know when he would be driven crazy by her. Yu Minmin stayed in City S for a few days. Finally, she started to rush to City B with Gu Jingming. The infection on Gu Jingming's body had completely disappeared. He would be fine after some rest. After the president's private plane landed, they rushed to Glass Palace. The doctor was already prepared in Glass Palace. They could recuperate in Glass Palace. Lin Che was waiting in Glass Palace. Gu Jingming couldn't meet anyone when he came back. Lin Che was no exception. So when Yu Minmin came back, he went to the living room first. When Lin Che saw Yu Minmin, he instantly felt much better. "You're finally back. How are you? You really didn't get hurt when you ran to the island from the military ship, right?" Chapter 688. She pulled Yu Minmin along and was relieved to see that Yu Minmin didn't lose an arm or a leg after turning around. Yu Minmin said, "Don't worry, I'm fine. As for you, Mo Huiling almost shot you. You were lucky to be able to dodge it." Lin Che said, "Luckily I'm fine now. You don't know, I've been annoyed to death by the company these days when you weren't here." "Alright, I know I'm not good at management. I heard that you still asked Gu Jingza for a lot of things? Yeah, it's a good thing I can ask him at any time. Otherwise I wouldn't know anything." Yu Minmin smiled. "Alright, I'm back now. You don't have to trouble President Gu. Our small company can't afford to hire such a big Buddha like President Gu." Lin Che said, "You don't have to rush back to the company. Mr. President's matter is the most important thing, right? You can go back after you're done." Yu Minmin looked inside. "It's okay. It's fine now. He just needs to recover." There are so many people around him. He still needs me. Lin Che said with a smile. With you around, isn't it twice the result with half the effort? Isn't it better for Mr. President to see you? Yu Minmin looked at her teasing and gave her a shove. All right, you're back. Let me introduce you to Bai. Oh, Abigail, right? I really want to see this girl. She's really amazing. She actually came to Country C with you. Yeah, she's quite fun. You'll know when you see her. Lin Che was just here to take a look. He didn't want to disturb Yu Minmin's rest and left. When Yu Minmin returned to the room, Gu Jingming was still resting on the bed. He had just been checked by the doctor and everything was fine, so he left and waited outside. Yu Minmin said, "The wound didn't tear open, did it?" She walked over and opened his clothes to take a look. On his chest, on the honey-colored muscles, the scars were thick, adding many scars to his perfect body. Although he looked wild and masculine, Yu Minmin still felt a little sorry for him. How long would it take for him to recover from such a serious injury? Feeling Yu Minmin's hand wandering around his chest, Gu Jingming's breathing stopped. He pressed down on Yu Minmin's hand and looked down at her. All right, it's fine now. Yu Minmin was still looking at him. You say it's fine every time. You still have to listen to the doctor. It's my own body. Of course I know. What do you know? You're used to being a president. You're so domineering and just listen to yourself. She muttered, thinking that Gu Jingming didn't hear her. However, the next moment, Gu Jingming's hand was already holding her arm again. What's wrong? Does it hurt? Yu Minmin thought that something was wrong, so she raised her head and asked. Gu Jingming narrowed his eyes and smiled. Of course I know whether I'm healthy or not. But I'm afraid you won't understand even if I tell you. How about, all of a sudden? He pulled her onto the bed, turned over and pressed her down under him. Why don't I let you experience it for yourself? Then you'll understand. Hey! Gu Jingming, no, what are you doing? Get out of here. Yu Minmin screamed. It was already like this, yet he still dared to make such a big move. Was he crazy? These days, the doctors were all frightened by him, yet he still dared to mess around. He was going to scare a few people to death. He wasn't an ordinary person. He was the dignified president. If there was a problem, something big would happen, okay? She felt that she couldn't bear the responsibility. If something went wrong, she wouldn't be able to explain it. Get out of here, Gu Jingming. If you cooperate, I'll be able to get out of here faster. Gu Jingming kissed her lips. Even though he hadn't fully recovered, he was still a patient who had been lying in bed for a few days. However, at this moment he was extremely brave. He started to tear off her clothes as fast as lightning. He left a mark on her chest, which also left a scorching heat. After that, he hugged her, kissed her shoulders, and then kissed her lips. From a light kiss to a deep kiss. Suddenly, a doctor pushed the door open and came in. He thought that the president was sleeping, so he wanted to quietly check on the president's body temperature. But unexpectedly, when the two doctors walked in together, they were scared half to death. Shocked by the scene in front of them, the two of them hurriedly left. However, Yu Minmin had already seen it. She quickly pushed Gu Jingming away. Someone came in. Gu Jingming frowned and glanced at the quickly closing door. What a hindrance. The doctors were still shocked after they went out. The people outside were still waiting. When they saw the two doctors coming out in a panic, they quickly asked, "What's wrong? What happened?" The doctor said in shock, Nothing, the other one sighed. Hee, the president and Mrs. President are. When everyone saw this, they immediately understood. Wow, it's so exciting. It's broad daylight, of course. You didn't see it. They were so intimate. The kiss was really intense. Then, the door opened and everyone quickly shut their mouths. When they saw Yu Minmin coming out, her face was full of shyness. Her cheeks were flushed, revealing her tenderness. Everyone looked at her even more ambiguously. Yu Minmin really wanted to kill Gu Jingming. How could he torment people like this? Yu Minmin quickly said, "You guys go in. Mr. President is calling for you." The few of them quickly smiled and nodded. They entered through the door and turned to look at Yu Minmin. Everyone thought enviously that it was too blissful to be together with the handsome Mr. President every day. Who said that the two of them weren't happy at all? Was it complete nonsense? Yu Minmin quickly went to find Lin Che. She didn't dare to come back to Glass Palace for the time being. She was too shy. When Yu Minmin returned to the company, everyone had a good attitude towards her. They kept greeting her and welcomed the return of Mrs. President. Because they were all too familiar with each other, Yu Minmin also knew that these people loved to joke around. After all, some of them had followed her since she wasn't even Mrs. President yet. Yu Minmin immediately went to find Lin Che. Lin Che was with Ah Bai. Seeing Yu Minmin come in, Lin Che immediately introduced them. "This is Yu Minmin, this is Ah Bai. Come, you guys should get to know each other." Ah Bai sized her up and said, "Oh, Lin Che mentions you every day." "Hello, Mrs. President. I know, I've seen that wedding before. It was on TV, but I didn't watch it carefully at that time." Yu Minmin also smiled as she looked at this little girl. It had to be said that her genes were good. She was really pretty, even though her dressing was strange. "Hello, Lin Che always mentions you. We've known each other for a while, but because I've always been in S country, we haven't met." "Yeah," Ah Bai said. Yu Minmin said, "Oh right, this is the first time we've met. Let's go out for a gathering tonight. I just came back, and I've made you guys busy recently. Treat it as me treating you guys to a meal as a proper apology." You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.